son. Where'd you find this?
And we are live. What's up, ninjas? The day is, what, June 24th today, if I'm not mistaken. We are here, June 23rd, excuse me. Got a good show planned for you guys, man. Today we're going to be covering some of the mistakes that were made from going into this conflict. And as always, the camera's off. Let me go ahead and get this thing going, guys. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you guys can see, I got one of the new hoodies in place right now, man. Okay, one of the OSS hoodies right here. I got some other merch as well that I'll go grab for you guys in a second. But yeah, merch drop is gonna come out on July 4th. Okay, guys, so that's gonna be a good time. So just be prepared. If I could find out, focus this goddamn camera, that is. Okay. This always happens, guys. Bear with me. Camera needs to focus. I'll turn it on and off. But yeah, guys, welcome to the stream, man. Sorry for the delay. I overslept a little, man. As you guys know, I've been going really hard the past couple of days with covering the conflict for you guys. Been doing a lot of research, looking at news, looking at all the different stuff, trying to give you guys, you know, another perspective that a lot of other, what I've noticed really, a lot of other Western media outlets are like not giving the American people, which is kind of like crazy. When I watch like Fox News and stuff like that, I'm just like, what the hell is going on here, right? Like they're not really educating the people on what's going on. And as you guys know, a couple of hours ago, you know, one of our U.S. bases, I think in Qatar, was hit, man. So this absolutely has, you know, negative ramifications. Someone said, man, just woke up. Yeah, bro, it's called working and streaming all night, dumbass. That's how I, that's literally, you guys saw, I went live for like 8-9 hours. Then I went ahead and went live again, like a couple hours later when Pete Hegseth had the press conference over at the Pentagon. Let me read some of these chats, and then we'll get into this thing. Maui GT says, can I use my EBT to pay for the merch? Maybe. Lord Venom, hey, Myron, had a question before I went to bed. Was wondering your thoughts on Andrew Tate's emergency meeting today on the whole conflict in the Middle East. Thanks, bro. I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. Midnight, subscribe for 1 year. Welcome to the goddamn OSS, my friend. You guys already know, man, this is going to be some of the best coverage on this conflict on YouTube because, let's be honest, bro, everybody else is bought and fucking paid for when it comes to this shit, bro. Especially in the conservative American media, because so many people have connections to the Trump administration. So they're just simply not going to keep it real with you guys when it comes to this awful, awful fucking, you know, foreign policy that we have here that, quite frankly, is run by Israel, okay? For all of you guys that like been saying, oh, Myron, you're obsessed with Israel, blah, blah. Bro, I've been telling you guys that they run our foreign policy for a minute, and now you guys are actually seeing it come to fruition. Padawan Slayer says, I love how that clown Marco Rubio said the IAEA knows Iran is attempting to make nukes when the IAEA said the exact opposite. I'm telling you, bro. We broke down his interview too. You know, oh, they can have a civilian nuclear program, blah, blah, blah. No, bro, we know that's a lie. They said they can't enrich uranium at all. Only right wing in Cali. Hey, Myron, I sent you a DM on Instagram. Wonder if you can help shed light on a robbery that took place on my mom and pop shop under the same name. Okay, I don't know what your Instagram is. Ryan Torber, I heard that attack on the U.S. base was telegraphed to the U.S. and Qatar to avoid casualties. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, absolutely was, and we will talk about that. It absolutely was, and that was by design. Smash the like button. Cool. Big lots. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Hope all is well. Okay. What's up, guys? Like I said, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you guys here. Change says gave a $1 super chat. Appreciate that. So as you guys know, this is the new one of the hoodies that we'll be having. You guys can see here the M Bison shit, right? And it's from Nike. So we're gonna be giving you guys some damn good fucking merch. I'll go get some other shirts as well of what we're gonna do. Also, since I keep it too real, look at this. Twitter locked my account, guys. So I'm locked on Twitter for the next 5 or 6 hours, bro. So fucking lame. So lame, because I made fun of that NBA thought. So they fucking locked me for like for like 12 hours. So goddamn stupid, bro. Shout out to Unforgiven with the gifted sub. As you guys can see, every time someone gives the sub, we get our buddy here, Mordecai, that comes on the screen. Finamek, 12-hour streamer. No, because we got Fresh and Fit today. We got Money Monday. We got David Green from Bigger Pockets. He's going to be here today at like 8. So can you please explain exactly why Iran can't bomb or do airstrikes on the U.S.? I'll talk about that. I will talk about that. So let me make sure I have everything else here set up before we kind of get into this. Oh, and the name of the song, guys, is called Boom Boom Tel-Aviv. It comes from Lucas Gage. It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. It's a funny song. So, all right. Thank you so much, Silent75 with the 50 gifted subs, bro. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, bro. You know, you guys are really loving this political content. You guys are really enjoying this stuff, man. And you guys know we cover true crime, politics, etc. Today, since we, got a few hours, we'll cover mostly the conflict. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a longer stream, as you guys know. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays tend to be shorter streams because, we do the Fresh and Fit. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to give you all a super long stream tomorrow. So we're going to cover the conflict going on in the Middle East. We'll cover the Diddy trial. That should be wrapping up this week as well, the Diddy trial. I got to figure out if I'm going to go up there, though. Like, they're talking about potentially doing closing statements on Thursday, chat, on the Diddy case. We'll also cover... what else will we cover? We'll also cover Russia-Ukraine. I want to go ahead and give you guys an update on that. We haven't talked about the Russia-Ukraine conflict for a bit. So, we're gonna keep you guys appraised of what the hell's going on. But first, this is what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and recap. So here's the facts. Over the weekend, guys, Donald Trump attacked several nuclear sites all across Iran. Most importantly, Fordow. For those of you that don't know, Fordow is their most fortified base, okay? It is in a mountain. It's extremely deep below. And, obviously the Israelis have been trying to destroy it, but they can't because they don't have the bunker buster bombs or the B-2 bomber to actually drop a bomb that's big enough that can penetrate through enough to actually blow up the facility in the ground because it's actually in a mountain. So United States ran an operation this weekend where they basically bombed all of the nuclear sites, especially Fordow, and they carried this out utilizing, I think, like 7 B-2 bombers, bombed it extensively. Pretty much they've destroyed these facilities. And then Israel came back, and I think yesterday they were actually bombing these facilities again. And obviously, this caused a lot of uproar within the conservative movement, whether you want to call it MAGA or, the voter base, whatever it is, the people that voted for Trump. It caused a lot of anger because, Trump campaigned on no new wars. And despite the fact that, Pete Hegseth went ahead and did a press conference with the Pentagon the next day, saying like it was a extremely precise and, specific mission to only attack the nuclear sites and nothing else. No personnel were harmed, nothing, whether Iranian or American. This is still an act of war. Okay, still an act of war. And I called it. The MAGA movement, Fox News, all the right-wing political commentators, the biggest ones, they're all going to also minimize what happened and say it was a precise strike and that's it, whatever, right? And honestly, I'm not surprised that, you know, a lot of these different commentators and news organizations are going to kind of just try to come in and, you know, downplay to say it needed to be done. You know, this is going to actually create peace. Donald Trump is so smart. He's a genius. You know, this operation was so good. Like they ran it, you know, it was military excellence. Yes, the operation was extremely sophisticated and extremely detailed. But let me tell you what that really fucking means, okay? That means to have an operation that meticulous, that well thought out, and that sophisticated with the type of technology that we utilize during it tells me one thing, besides the fact that they made it happen. They were planning this the whole time. As you guys know, I gave you guys this this theory when we saw that the negotiations were starting to stall. And the reason why the negotiations started to stall is because first they said, hey, look, you guys can have a uranium enrichment program, but you can't, you know, enrich the weapons grade. Iran was like, okay, we can go ahead and have a discussion because, as you guys know, telling the Iranians that they can't even enrich uranium is a non-starter, okay? They're like, we're not even gonna meet with you guys if we can't enrich uranium, right? And run a civilian program. So they made it up to about 5 rounds of talks. Then Israel bombed them. Now the U.S. is saying, oh, we gave them 6 days. We warned them. They're playing games, blah, 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 right? And we told them they can't enrich uranium, which that's like that's patently false because we know from the beginning the Iranians wouldn't even have met to negotiate if there wasn't some type of agreement that they'd be able to maintain their civilian nuclear program to some degree, right? And keep in mind, guys, Iran already was in a deal back in 2015 that President Obama structured, which it was a fantastic deal. The nuclear deal before basically was a deal that allowed Iran to maintain their civilian nuclear program, but when they were maintaining their civilian nuclear program, there was checks and balances. Russia would come in and deal with the plutonium. France would come in and deal with the uranium. And basically, they had it was a very sophisticated and complex strategy and plan. But the long story short is this. There was no way that they would be able to enrich up to a weapons grade level because you had international inspectors coming in and the uranium and the plutonium was being moved to other countries, okay, throughout the process to ensure that there wouldn't be any enrichment to the point where there would be, it would be weapons grade. And it was a great deal, okay? And everyone in the international community pretty much knows and admits that Iran complied with the deals. They were on point, with the terms. They complied. They signed the non-proliferation treaty. They did everything that they needed to do. But it wasn't until 3 years later Donald Trump came in and ripped up the nuclear deal after enormous pressure from the Zionist lobby, Benjamin Netanyahu, and his donors, and Mike Pompeo, one of his right-hand guys. And then after he ripped up the nuclear deal in 2018, they placed the IRGC, which is a component of the Iranian military, on the foreign terrorist organization list. That went ahead and allowed them to impose crippling sanctions, and Iran economy just tanked, okay? So they pulled out the deal, put them on a watch list, and then destroyed their economy. So obviously, and then he killed Soleimani a year later after that in 2020, right? So Qasem Soleimani, who was a huge military figure, revered all across the country. So, you know, we backed out of our agreement. So of course they're going to start enriching uranium because they clearly saw that even though they were doing negotiations with the United States and the Obama administration came in good faith, the Trump administration came in and ripped up the deal, right? So so that's kind of give you guys a quick background on what the hell and how the hell we got here. So they ran this operation on the weekend. We're going to go ahead and see how they ran this operation. I have a little video here from AI Tell. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite videos. One of my favorite channels. And we're going to kind of see how the hell they did this. It was a very sophisticated plan, but let's get into it. Oh, hold on. Let's kind of give you guys a quick background on what the hell and how the hell we got here. So they ran this operation on... Wait one sec, Chad. I got to find out where I... We're going to go ahead and see how they ran this operation. All right, hold on, Chad. Where the fuck did I put that? Where the hell? I got myself playing in the background somewhere. I hate when this happens, bro. This shit always happens sometimes. Bear with me, chat. All right, that's muted. That's muted. That's muted. Someone said audio is low. Bro, stop trolling, man. Also, I was going through look at this shit, bro. These niggas be hating, man. I'll be back in 5 hours, niggas. 5 hours. Let me close some of these tabs. Clearly, there's some shit going on here, man. Where the fuck? Bear with me, guys. I'm making sure all my audio stuff is good here. All right, that's good. That's good. Let me close this shit out too. All right, let me try now.
Three main nuclear sites: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The typical.
All right, that's good. That's good, bruh. What the fuck? All right, let me try now. All right, I don't know why this shit is looping.
Three main nuclear sites: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The Spirit bombers, which took off from Wegman Air Force Base in Missouri on the morning of June 21st, 2025. In addition, around 30 cruise missiles were fired from U.S. nuclear submarines submerged in the region, hitting the underground nuclear enrichment facilities one after another. It might sound straightforward, but it's far from simple. These aircraft are massive fuel guzzlers and rely heavily on aerial refueling support to complete such long-range missions. And here's where it gets even more complex. 21st, 2025. In addition, around 30 cruise missiles were fired from U.S.
All right, it's on a loop. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Let me try resetting my... Give me 1 sec. I'm going to reset my mixer, chat. Give me 1 sec. All right. Hopefully that should fix it, chat. I reset the shit.
The KC-135 Stratotanker aircraft, responsible for mid-air refueling, don't operate alone. They require protection provided by F-A-18 electronic warfare squadrons that escort the tankers and also help shield the B-2 bombers from detection and attack. More detail all in the video ahead.
All right. Hopefully that should fix it, chat.
What
I
the
reset the shit. Wow. This shit.
The KC-135 Stratotanker aircraft,
All
responsible for mid-air
What the
refueling, don't
fuck?
operate. A-18 electronic warfare squadrons that escort the tankers
hold
and
on,
also
man.
help shield the B-2 bombers from detection and attack. More detail all in the video ahead.
All right, I'm gonna have to turn off the OBS and open it back up, chat.
That should fix it, chat.
I don't know why the fuck that's happening. This shit.
The KC-135 Stratotanker aircraft, responsible for mid-air refueling, don't operate. A-18 electronic warfare.
Let me try. Oh, that's what it was. Whatever.
The mission begins in the quiet hours before dawn at Wegman Air Force Base.
Sorry about that, chat.
In Missouri.
We got it now.
Where the B-2 Spirit prepares for a flight that will span continents.
All right, now we're good. Now we're good. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We good. We good now. Sorry about that, guys.
While the stealth bomber is capable of flying non-stop with aerial refueling, pilot fatigue is a major consideration. To mitigate this, the US has strategically positioned allied air bases in Qatar closer to Iran and on Diego Garcia, and possibly forward operating bases such as Anderson Air Force Base in
Diego Garcia is a huge base that we have, guys. That I think it's in the Indian Ocean or whatever, and it's one of the staging locations that we have for you know, the Middle East.
Guam, one of the most strategic U.S.
I gotta double check, bro. I gotta double check. Diego Garcia. Okay, Indian Ocean. Yep, I was right. Okay, just had to double check, bro.
military bases in the world. By redeploying several B-2 Spirit bombers from the 509th Bomb Wing to Diego Garcia, the U.S. ensures a secure launch point for operations across the Middle East, Africa, and the Indo-Pacific. A carefully calculated military strategy that enhances both survivability and operational reach. But they were also escorted by aircraft carriers and submarines. Across the Arabian Sea, FA-18 Super Hornets and EA-18G Growler launch from the decks of U.S. carriers, their roles already defined. Some will clear a path through Iran's air defenses, while others will guard the tankers that keep the entire operation airborne. The KC-135 Stratotankers, laden with fuel, loiter in friendly airspace over Saudi Arabia, but crews aware that their unglamorous task could mean the difference between triumph and catastrophe. As the B-2s lift off, their jagged silhouettes blend into the night sky. Stealth is their shield, but distance is their enemy.
Vince Carter 445, my old man, I'm 18 years old, thinking about joining the Air Force. Is this a horrible idea with everything going on right now? What are your thoughts on the military in general? Thank you. Military is great, bro, but I'll be very honest with you. You know, there's a high likelihood that you'll be drawn into a conflict for Israel, bro. So right now is not a good time.
Hours into the flight, they rendezvous with tankers flying over the canal, gulping fuel midair as FA-18s circle protectively. The Growlers emit a cacophony of electronic noise masking the strike group's movements. Meanwhile, in underground command centers, U.S. analysts watch real-time feeds ready to redirect forces if Iran's radars flicker to light. Crossing into Iranian airspace is no easy task. The B-2s must climb to an extremely high altitude, their routes meticulously plotted to avoid known missile sites. Below the landscape, a vast stretch of mountains and deserts offers little cover, but the bombers' radar-absorbing skin helps them slip past enemy detection. As the targets come within range, the crews face a critical decision. Launch standoff missiles from hundreds of miles away or descend to drop bunker-busting bombs directly onto fortified sites. There are different bunker buster bombs of different caliber, but what sets it apart from the rest is this GBU-57, which is typically delivered by the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber.
This is a 30,000-pound bomb, guys. Huge.
Due to the bomb's large size and weight, the aircraft can carry only 2 of these weapons in its bomb bay compartments. While it lacks thrusters, the weapon is equipped with 4 active lattice fins and a precision guidance system that enables it to glide accurately to its target using military-grade GPS. Constructed from a specially designed high-performance steel alloy, using its weight when falling under gravity to penetrate or dig itself up to 200 feet of underground soil or concrete. But it's not that easy. Iran's air defenses remain a formidable threat. MiG-29s and aging F-14s may not be cutting edge, but they can still be dangerous if they're lucky enough to intercept a B-2 stealth bombers. The stealth bombers have virtually no dogfighting capability and Iranian ground controllers, struggling to cut through the electronic jamming, vector their fighters toward the incoming bombers. But the US military has its own countermeasures. EA-18 Growler, flooding Iranian frequencies with static to disrupt communications and targeting systems. Confusion spreads, making it harder for enemy pilots to coordinate. If Iranian fighter jets manage to get close, the F-A-18s are waiting. Guided by airborne warning and control system aircraft orbiting safely offshore, they engage with long-range missiles, forcing Iranian pilots to either break off or face certain destruction. The B-2s will now be racing westward to avoid Iranian air defense system. Behind them, the sky churns with chaos. SAM sites reactivated in desperation unleash salvos that spiral harmlessly into empty air, duped by decoys. Growlers continue their electronic siege, while reserve F-18s surge forward to reinforce the retreat. Over Iraq, the bombers meet tankers again, gulping fuel as F-22 Raptors join the escort, their sensors scanning for threats the Iranians might yet muster. Let's take a look at how this works. Step 1. The bomb deployment platform, as previously mentioned, a B-2 stealth bomber flies at a very high altitude. When the aircraft reaches
Yeah, name of this channel is called AI Telly, guys.
the designated location and the conditions are optimal, it releases the weapon. The bomb is designed for precision, and the deployment height plays a crucial role in its trajectory and effectiveness. Then step 2 comes the targeting precision. The bomb is outfitted with advanced guidance technology, including GPS and inertial navigation systems, which are military-grade satellites. Then comes step 3, that is adjusting the trajectory. The guidance information and data is then transmitted to the bomb's 4-lattice motors fins located at the rear. These fins can move and adjust in real time, allowing the bomb to correct its course as it descends under the force of gravity. These adjustments are essential because the weapon does not have thrusters to change its trajectory. Instead, it relies on the movement of these fins and the high altitude drop to control its flight path.
Trey Yanks reporting live from...
This is why the bomb must be deployed from a very high altitude so it has enough time and distance to adjust its trajectory accurately. Here comes the most difficult part, that is step 4, impact and penetration. The bomb, known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, weighs approximately 30,000 pounds, which is around 14,000 kilograms.
And we're the only ones that have this.
Reaches its target, it strikes with immense force, designed to penetrate deep into hardened structures, such as bunkers. The energy upon impact allows the bomb to bury itself over 200 feet into reinforced concrete, ensuring it delivers its payload precisely where it is intended for maximum effect. Finally, step 5 involves the tricky part of arming the weapon. It was installed with 2 SDB fuses. Double fuses are required as a backup. The first is for G-sensing and the second is the time delay fuse. Why the redesign was necessary, it was to ensure that the bomb could strike facilities buried beneath significant layers of hardened material. For this reason, the fuses are placed at the rear of the bomb to prevent them from being damaged. Once the time delay or the G-sensing fuse reaches its destination, it can blow up, creating a mini earthquake that can bury bunkers and 20-story buildings inside them. Let's take a look at why Israel has been bombarding Iran's nuclear sites since June 13, 2020.
All right, and we went over that, and we know why they ran operation lines. I told you guys before, this is not about nuclear weapons, it's about regime change. And guess what? I got proven right once again. So Trump put this out on True Social. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MAGA. Now, why is this important? The reason why this is important, chat, is because Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, other members of his cabinet have basically said that this is not a regime change. This was a very specific move to attack their nuclear capability. But as you guys can see, the goalpost has basically changed. Now, he's admitting kind of subtly, because Trump does this, he's very unpredictable, potential regime change. And that's what it was from the beginning, guys. It was never about the nuclear weapons, okay? Now, I wrote a tweet about this, okay? Wrote a tweet about it. It's getting some pretty damn good traction. But I really want to read this for you guys so you guys understand what the fuck's going on here, right? So, and if you guys don't follow me on X, you guys need to follow me on X. I'd be doing a lot of, you know, I cover a lot of politics on here. The Iran bombing was a monumental failure. Anyone who doesn't see this is either a MAGA supporter who can't think critically or a paid shill. Guys, this entire week, I want y'all to pay attention to all the influencers, and I want you to see how they fucking cope with this shit. Okay? Isn't that a regime change? Then Trump goes ahead and says, what's wrong with a regime change? Right? Number one, let's assume Iran did have a nuclear bomb or was close to it. As you guys know, Israel and the United States were alleging. We already know they moved all the most critical materials for the bombs out of facilities before this very publicly telegraphed attack. Remember, guys, we knew the U.S. was going to attack for a while. He said 2 weeks, but we knew they were going to attack this weekend. I predict they moved these items either right after Trump pulled out of the nuclear deal in 2018 or shortly after, October 7th, 2023. As you guys know, that's when Hamas attacked Israel. When they knew a regional war would likely begin. 2, if they don't have the bomb, we spent a significant amount of taxpayer dollars to bomb Iran. Costs about $300 million, guys, to run that one operation. And to prevent Israel from the consequences of their reckless foreign policy, which led to missiles raining down on Tel-Aviv and Haifa. For those of you guys that are unaware, we've given Israel so far $12 billion. Okay, within 6 months of Trump being in office, we gave them $12 billion. We normally give them $3 to $4 billion every year, but we pretty much quadrupled that, okay, in just 6 months. Either way, don't let anyone fool you. The objective here was regime change, not their nuclear weapons. And guys, I tweeted this before Trump put this out, by the way. He put this out June 22nd, 2025, 4:55 p.m. When did I tweet this shit? I tweeted my thing June 22nd, 3:24. So before he tweeted his, an hour later, I guess, he tweeted what he's going to say. Yeah, 4:55 p.m. Me was 3:24. Right? Okay. We already know that regime change won't happen from within, as Israel hoped. Their attacks backfired and actually united the people, united the country behind the regime instead of dividing it as they had anticipated. Because you guys know, Israel and the West was hoping for a color revolution or a coup to occur, right? Oh, they're going to overthrow their government, etc. Didn't happen. It literally did the opposite, okay? Because as much as people might not like the regime, a lot of people might not like the government, the leadership, etc. They dislike Israel more. Okay, they dislike Israel more. Let's see here. Without a color revolution, regime change won't happen without boots on the ground. However, Iran is a fortified country with difficult terrain. To put things in perspective, we needed 200,000 troops and weeks of airstrikes to take over Iraq. It cost 1 million lives and trillions of dollars with nothing to show for it. Iran is a larger country with a sophisticated ballistic missile program and a capable military. U.S. soldier casualties would be catastrophic. So, if we're not going to achieve regime change, what was the point? Iran likely retained its nuclear capability, and if they don't have it, they will certainly pursue it to ensure this never happens again. Ironically, having a nuclear weapon actually deters the West from attacking you. Just ask North Korea. Since we can't achieve regime change, Iran will live to fight another day. Also, I want to let you guys know that North Korea is far less stable, far crazier, and they got intercontinental fucking missiles and nukes. But we let them keep their program, right? So what the U.S. has proven here is that, like, if you have nukes, the U.S. will mess with you. But if you don't have nukes or you're close to having nukes, the U.S. will mess with you. What kind of message are we sending out to the international community, right? Since we can't achieve regime change, Iran will live to fight another day. Despite Trump claiming he wants diplomacy, the U.S. has proven it can't be trusted as Israel attacked Iran during negotiations. So I don't think we'll be able to make a deal after this brazen provocation. A surrender would signal weakness and leave Iran open to another blow when they least expect it. Like last week when Israel attacked. We didn't destroy their nuclear program or remove the regime that has mastered the nuclear cycle and has the ability to build a bomb. And they definitely won't negotiate after this attack. The United States and Israel endangered millions of lives and created economic turmoil for what? Right? And we got to really be able to, like, look at this, guys. Like, what benefit did we get from this? Right? Because I'm taking both scenarios. Let's say they did have a nuclear bomb. Well, they moved everything. Let's say they didn't have a nuclear bomb. We spent a bunch of money to blow up a bunch of empty nuclear facilities. For what? To run a fucking infomercial for our military capabilities for Lockheed Martin and Boeing? You know? So, yeah. It is what it is, man. Yeah, dude. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So it's like, what the fuck? Now, here's the other thing, too, as well, that you guys got to understand. So right after this attack happened, and we'll get into what happened earlier today. Right after this attack happened, where'd it go? I had the tweet here. Here, let me duplicate this. So right after this attack happened, right, guys? Shout out to Gynam94 for joining. Appreciate you, my friend. So right after this happened, the Iranian Foreign Minister was in Istanbul and announced that he was going to go meet with the Russians. Well, here he is meeting with the Russians, right? Here he is meeting directly with President Putin, right? So basically, we push them into the arms of the fucking Russians, one of our adversaries, a nuclear-armed superpower, right? And I tweeted on this. For all the Americans that think attacking Iran's facilities was a good idea, look at this. Not only have we made the citizens of Iran unite under the regime, now they are meeting with adversarial nuclear powers. If Iran has or doesn't have a nuke, we can be certain they are going to get one now. This is what happens via bad diplomacy. We destroyed a peace deal and pushed Iran towards our enemy that can help them gain the very weapons we think we destroyed. Now, it gets worse. Dmitry Medvedev, tweeted some stuff. And he goes, what have the Americans accomplished with, and he's his position right here, Deputy Chair of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, the third president of Russia, 2008 to 2012, for tweets in Russian, follow, blah, 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 right? So, and you guys can see this is official political account because it's gray. And he goes, what have the Americans accomplished with their nighttime strikes on 3 nuclear sites in Iran? 1, critical infrastructure of the nuclear fuel cycle appears to have been unaffected or sustained only minor damage. 2, the enrichment of nuclear material, and now we can say it outright, the future production of nuclear weapons will continue. Like I told you guys, right? Now it's imminent that they're going to go ahead and try to get a bomb. 3, a number of countries are ready to directly supply Iran with nuclear warheads. Now, this is bad. This is really fucking bad, by the way. Okay, guys? Really bad. So, yeah. Now, I see that you guys are saying that there was a ceasefire just announced. All right, we'll cover that here in a second. At this rate, Trump can forget about the Nobel Peace Prize, not even with how it rigged it became. What a way to kick things off, Mr. President. Congratulations. Donald Trump, once hailed as president of peace, has now pushed the U.S. into another war. The vast majority of countries around the world oppose the actions of Israel and the United States. Israel's under attack, explosions are rocking the country, and people are panicking. The U.S. is now entangled in a new conflict with prospects of a ground operation looming on the horizon. So let's fast forward, guys, right? So you got these countries that are offering nukes to Iran. Let's go ahead. This came out an hour ago with the U.S. being struck by Iran.
From Tel-Aviv.
Military base, I think, in Qatar.
Trey, what's the latest?
And then we'll get into the ceasefire, which just came out, I guess.
From where you are.
Yeah, Martha, the entire region looking at Qatar this evening following the Iranian strike on the Al Udeid air base just outside of Doha. Earlier in the day, there started to be some GPS jamming around that area, and then an alert went out from the U.S. Embassy in Doha warning American citizens there to shelter in place. The final indication that something may have been happening was the closing of Qatari airspace, and then ultimately we saw this attack unfold. It does appear, at least for now, to be over, but there could be further responses from the Iranians as state.
All right. Whoever said there's a ceasefire, ban them, mods. Ban them. Yeah, we don't play that shit over here, bro. Like, yo, I fucking hate trolls that, like, hurt the quality of the show to just, like, do some dumb shit. Mods, ban everybody that said there's a ceasefire putting out fake news. Ban them right now. You niggas we don't even want y'all around, bro, honestly. You guys hurt the quality of the chat. You guys hurt the quality of the show. You guys fucking talk about the audio's low and shit. Ban all those motherfuckers, bro. I have no problem with people having opinions. I see a lot of you guys like, oh, I hate you, Byron, blah, blah. That's fine. I don't care. I try to keep the chat, free speech. But when you're going to report fake news like that and fucking get some shit going crazy, get them out of here. Mods, you know what to do. Ban all these niggas, bro.
Yeah, is announcing they are calling this in Tehran the Annunciation of Victory. Now, they're also releasing their own propaganda about...
Now, we knew that they were going to attack the bases. Now, it's important that you guys understand that they telegraphed this hours ahead of time. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second.
What took place targeting this U.S. interest in the Middle East, saying it was a devastating and powerful blow. And tonight, Iran's Supreme National Security Council trying to ease tensions with Qatar, who condemned this attack on their country, saying the operation did not pose any threat or danger to the brotherly Qatari people or the security of the Qatari state. As Jennifer noted, we do anticipate we'll get more information from the Qataris this evening when they hold a press conference in Doha. But tonight, the Israelis are reacting and bracing for the possibility that Iranian attacks against this country continue. Earlier this morning, there were 2 waves of ballistic missiles that targeted both residential areas in the north and energy facilities in the south. The Israelis believe there will be more attacks tonight from Iranian territory, despite the fact that we learned just last hour Israeli fighter jets remain in the skies over the Iranian capital of Tehran and in the surrounding area. They are striking targets as we speak. We anticipate this will continue throughout this evening. But again, the latest information as the region reacts to this news.
All right, so we got some news 12 minutes ago.
the Iranians have
I'll pull it up here in a second.
launched an attack on the largest U.S. base in the region. This base is just about a 30-minute drive outside of the Qatari capital of Doha and normally houses around 10,000 U.S. soldiers. Martha?
Yeah, so we will all be watching for any further attacks on any U.S. bases. Trey, in terms of the Israeli response that continues, what's your sense of what they were able to accomplish? And did the attack on Saturday night soften up any targets that they were able to then go back into over the last 24 hours?
It's a great question. When President Trump ordered those strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities, the Israelis wanted to ensure that Iran couldn't go and determine how much damage was caused or try to repair anything that was hit in the U.S. strikes over the weekend. And so earlier today, outside of the Fordow nuclear facility, this large fortified facility that President Trump ordered the strikes against, the Israelis hit the access routes to Fordow so that the Iranians were not able to send teams in to assess how much damage had been done. Martha?
Trey Yang, thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.
All right, so this literally came out hot off the press, guys, 12 minutes ago, okay? Trump says, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world, right? Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Now, look, my initial thoughts after looking at this right now, Trump has lied during this entire conflict, okay? We're negotiating. We got a meeting on Sunday. Iran gets bombed. I need 2 weeks to decide. Bombs them on Saturday. So, you know, yeah, you know, I would not trust what Trump says about this conflict because he's honestly, guys, he's lied a lot about this conflict. Unfortunately, I wish I could believe him, but I'm skeptical, very, very skeptical. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying that it's not true, but I am saying that he's lied quite a bit during this entire situation. So we'll see what happens. Let me see here. Hold on one sec, chat. Let's check the latest on this because it came out 12 minutes ago. Yeah, and don't ban them, guys. Don't ban the guys if they said only ban the fucking spammers or whatever. But like the guys that said that they're correct. They're correct. They said there is a ceasefire. They're correct. So let's see here. But yeah, whenever people put out fake in the future, whenever people put like fake information like that and shit like that, trying to get a fucking rise of the chat, which a lot of you guys have done that before. Yeah, but yeah, don't ban them because they were actually correct on that one. All right, let's jump on Twitter real quick and see what the fuck is going on here. Obviously, Trump and your boy Thomas Massie have been going back and forth quite a bit. Trump says here, get this bum out of office ASAP. Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA, even though he likes to say he is actually MAGA, doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. He's -4, so almost always votes no matter how good something may be. He's a simple-minded grandstander who thinks it's good politics for Iran to have the highest level nuclear weapon while at the same time yelling death to America every chance they get. Iran has killed and maimed thousands of Americans and even took over the American embassy. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Massie, Massie doesn't get any money from the Israeli lobby. Meanwhile, Trump gets $230 million from the Israeli lobby. This was absolutely a war for AIPAC. Let's be honest here. And again, I'm very skeptical that there's going to actually be long-lasting peace here. So let's see. Let's jump in here.
Simon did say that there would be no strike from Israel on Iran, which there was, and then he said the U.S. wouldn't get involved, which it did. And no offense intended, but just throwing it out there, trying to keep score.
That's
here.
correct. Hands up.
I mean,
if
you're consistently wrong, you're bound to be right once, right?
So, what's this? The professor that you had on the other day says that it's fake news.
Professor Morandi.
We haven't seen confirmation.
Yeah.
And he's got
from
Professor
Iran or
Morandi, just
Israel.
for the audience, does have links to the Iran's government. So, from what my understanding, so therefore he probably will have some inside information on that. Where does it? No ceasefire, fake news, Zionists are in trouble. Okay, let's see. So he has wrote no ceasefire. Okay, let me see if I can get him on.
Yeah, I'd be really
John.
really surprised if this is the end of it. I'd be really surprised.
Hi, John. How you doing? Just want to welcome John onto the stage. John Mappen. How are you doing? How
Yeah,
are
hi.
things?
How are
What's
you?
I'm good, thank you very much. What's your thoughts on, this 12-day war, as Trump describes it, the UN intervention and the possible ceasefire?
Well, I tell you what I do think. I think everybody on here that has been a sort of communicator, I think there's been some very, very positive peacemaking communications from this group. And the intention here has been...
Now, what I think is, guys, if we end up actually getting a peace agreement, that'll be awesome. But from what I'm looking at, man, we don't know. We don't know. So, like I said before, Trump has been lying a lot throughout this entire ordeal with Iran. So we'll have to see, man.
Castle in Cornwall, and to let you know that I think this is a positive breakthrough for sanity, and if we see an improvement, we should acknowledge it. If we see insanity, then we should speak out against it. And I think that the power of what some of the commentators on here have been communicating and the truth that's been coming into view has actually made a difference. I really believe that. So I just want to say thank you, really. That's why I logged on.
Oh.
Appreciate it, John, and yeah, appreciate.
Oh, I can't even talk, guys, because my account is like banned right now. Or like I got like a fucking like I got a ban. That's why. No wonder. I was wondering why I can't fucking join the thing. All right, hold on.
Well, thank you, Suleiman.
Let you guys listen to this real quick while I.
Would love to see you at Camelot soon. Actually, it's long overdue.
Definitely. I'll try and make sure I get
I'm on
that for sure.
a quick update. So this is
Yeah.
CNN. Senior official says Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal, and Iran plans to intensify its strikes on Israel. It is CNN, but I mean, you also saw Professor Morandi's post as well. I don't know why Trump keeps lying.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Go
I read
ahead, whoever's
earlier.
speaking.
Do you guys
No, I
think
was
Trump's
saying
just
I read
trolling?
earlier.
I just don't get the actual, as well, the kind of staggered. Well, we're trying to figure out if it's staggered or not.
Need
But
healthcare.
I just can't figure
It
out
just
what he means by this as well. Like, what does it mean by for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended? Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. So what are they trying to say? Like, Iran's going to be under a ceasefire for 12 hours, by which there'll be 12 hours where Israel's not.
I don't know why we got retards in the chat. Like, do you guys not realize that I'm anti-war? So a ceasefire is actually exactly what I want, you dumb fucks. Do you guys like not get that? Like, I've been very, I've opposed the war because I don't want a fucking war. And I think that our foreign policy is stupid because we basically get ourselves involved in conflicts on behalf of Israel. Some of you motherfuckers must be new here. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But yeah, I don't want a war. Definitely don't. And if you guys don't know that, you must be new here. So yeah, we got some trolls in the YouTube chat, which is kind of weird. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Like, you guys must be really new here, bro. So here, I'll turn the volume up a little bit for you guys. Oh, that's a little too high. All right, that should be better. So
Intuitive result, because it hasn't ended the nuclear program. Now there's probably going to be no conversation about any kind of parameters by which nuclear proliferation can't occur or like accelerate past, because the claim is that the nuclear program is being completely destroyed. whereas we know that it hasn't, based on the fact that the US had telegraphed that bombing well in advance, and so they were able to remove a lot of their items from the specific location. So what it's done is it's given Iran a kind of carte blanche to be able to create a nuclear bomb. It's probably harmed Israel significantly. It's harmed Iran as well, less so.
Yeah, it looks like APAC sent their trolls into the chat, bro. This comedy. All right, let me read some of these chats from you guys. Okay, Most Toxic says, USA runs the Jays. Jays lands are getting destroyed, not America. You have it twisted, guys. USA runs everything. All right, Most Toxic, you're stupid for saying that. You're so fucking dumb and don't understand foreign policy if you really believe that. Ecova says, Myron, great show. Thanks for everything you do to inform us to keep the good work. Andrew Tate brought up an interesting point today on the stream in regards to the war. We'd like to know your view on it. Somebody sent me the clip. Some had some unique takes earlier on what this whole thing could be about. Trump made a deal with them boys to blow up Iran's nuclear sites. Now regime change. Trump's post was just a threat to Khomeini to not retaliate harshly. Trump is the Mahdi foretold in the Quran. I don't know what you mean by that. Trump just announced a ceasefire, Myron. Yep, we looked at it. I think we have a Mossad agent in the chat that's trying to start issues with you and us in the chat with Zionist propaganda. Can we ban him, please, if he continues to cause issues? Who? Bobby Trauma? Or no, Robert? Oh, yeah, Robert LDN. Yeah, bro is. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Who the fuck this guy is? Oh yeah. Yeah, this he's a troll, bro. Okay, King Abdul says, hey, my random question. Let's say World War III were to occur during our lifetime. How would it affect technology and the world economy? Is it possible we go back to American Gilded Age, which was pre-World War I? Nah, we ain't going back to that one, bro. We're not going back to that. We have shipped all that industry out of here, bro, unfortunately, King Abdul. Richie says, United States of Israel, ridiculous. Are there any countries not bought by Israel? Tell my mate K1 to stop being a bitch. Yeah, there's countries that don't have as much Israeli influence, but unfortunately, they're not the West. Friendly reminder, if you want to share how to give subs from locals to normies out there to get into OSS, I attached 6 screenshots how to do it from the convenience of your phone. No docs, so you're good. Appreciate that, One Chest. Did you see the video trend Iran before 1979 propaganda? Are the Zionists and Freemasons for each other or against each other? I tried researching it, but can't find much. A lot of the symbolism is similar. Yeah, bro, basically Freemasons are Goyim, there are basically Goyams that are also, you know, behave like them boys. Myron, turn the mic up, bro, please. Shit's mad quiet. I'm using speakers, not headphones. It's up. Dope sweater, waiting for the merch drops. Recommendation, /Hitler in the background. Okay. They can try to get us banned. Is it true Iran notified ahead of time before attacking our base? Yes, they absolutely did. And the reason why they did that, guys, so that they wouldn't create that much damage, right? So they know that if they attack the base and cause too much damage or kill people, that's going to warrant a significant retaliation from the United States. So it's a game of like chess where you have to retaliate, but you also have to retaliate in a way where you're not showing that you're weak, but you're also not retaliating too hard where you're killing people and warranting an even larger response from the U.S. This happened after they killed Soleimani. They bombed a military base after they killed Soleimani, but they told people beforehand. They told the U.S. beforehand and telegraphed it so that they can get their soldiers out of there. And, you know, pretty much ended there, died there. Let's see here. Baby Bunker says, I was thinking the same thing today, right before the emergency meeting. It's way too much theater and courtesy to do it. What are your thoughts? Yeah, that's why. That's exactly why they told them beforehand. Because they don't want to actually kill anybody. Or U.S. soldiers, that'd be bad. Is there any way you might be able to cover it, even if just a little bit? If not, it doesn't cool your show today. Yeah, give me the timestamp, dude. Give me the timestamp. Only right wing in Cali. My name is Only Right Wing Cali. Shop my family and friends. Okay, Ozzy says, can you explain exactly why Iran can't bomb or do airstrike in the U.S.? I explained that. All right, I think we're caught up here.
As far as I'm concerned, I think the nuclear weapons in Pakistan and the nuclear weapons in Israel are under American control.
Just some breaking news, guys. Iran has said that this is a courtesy, and
Look
Iran
at
has
this.
said they've not received any ceasefire proposal. The tweets in the nest. Iran is planning to intensify its strikes on Israel. So we're getting conflicting reports from Donald Trump and Iran. That tweet's in the nest. That's been confirmed by CNN. That's not just Professor Morandi, although Professor Morandi did say it.
That's probably a low-level person in the Iranian government.
For all these lies?
Trump ain't getting impeached. Stop the games, man. And you don't
sorry,
want
Gary,
Trump impeached because J.D. Vance comes in.
Sorry, Gary. So are you taking Trump at his word here? You think this is the end?
I think if Donald Trump is going to say that something's happening, then most likely something's happening. He never said it's going to end right away. He said it like in 12 or 24 hours or something like that. So give it 12 to 24 hours. We're going to know if he's a man of his word. We'll find out very soon.
Okay, but right now you think that this is going to happen as the tweet says.
I think that there's still going to be minor skirmishes and stuff like that, but the big missiles are done.
In 6 hours,
what happened with Iran in the Middle East, and some breaking news coming just now. Joining us this evening.
All right, so this literally was 3 minutes ago from Fox News. Let's see what's going on here. Because, yeah, we're getting conflicting information. Shout out to Goonie Gugu, says, can we get OSS dog collars for our bigoted pets? Maybe. Why can't the beta-cuck U.S. government just put a hit out on the alpha male regime leader, Ali Khamenei? Myron, how do we send you a link? You put in the chat. Jose P.R. Ramirez says, just tuned in, wanted to give you a tip. Thank you so much. And guys, we got almost 10,000 you guys in here, man. So welcome to the stream. You guys can be anywhere else, but you guys here with me. Guys, do me a favor. Smash the like button. And also join the OSS, guys. We're running a special right now. You can get in for only $4. You guys already know we keep it the rawest over here. And I told you guys to be skeptical of anything that Trump says during this situation. You guys know politicians lie, but Trump has been lying quite a bit when it comes to this whole conflict with Iran. I'll be honest with y'all. And this is coming from someone that actually likes Donald Trump.
Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Just seconds ago, the president went to Truth Social and typed this. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. Complete and total ceasefire is what he typed.
Yep.
What does that mean? How did it come about? What's the development here?
Well, we were actually working on that just as I left the White House to come over here. So that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. I think what it means, Brett, is quite simple. First of all, the president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty, obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think...
Now, here's the other thing, too, guys. We got to be very honest with ourselves here. I would not be surprised if the Iranians didn't have another nuclear facility somewhere else that none of us know about and or moved all the most critical stuff out. We already know that they moved somewhere around 400 kilos of stuff out of these facilities, the most important shit. So, because they knew they were going to get hit, dude. So, I just don't see how this is a W at all.
Think is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really...
Well, see, here's the thing. Now they're absolutely going to rebuild the program, right? Because, unfortunately, what the U.S. has proven is that, number one, they lie. Number two, diplomacy can be feigned. And then number three, the only way to really protect themselves from regime change, because that's what they're worried about, is by having a nuclear bomb, right? Like I said before, I always use the example of North Korea. North Korea is far less stable, way crazier, way less diplomacy, and they have a nuclear bomb, and we don't fuck with them. Instead, Trump actually went over there and shook Kim Jong-un's hand, right? So, it's absolutely wild to me how they're hell-bent on taking away their nuclear program, saying that they're like, radical, crazy Muslims that will kill the entire world. But now you guys have pushed them to get the nuclear bomb, because it's very obvious that when Iran is negotiating with the United States, they're actually negotiating with Israel.
Trying to figure out here is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region, where our regional allies and, of course, the American people, most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
I want to get to the obliterated part in just a minute, but I just want to read this fully so I get the context here. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now.
And honestly, guys, having nukes, what it's really for is to ensure that other countries respect you, right? Like you have what's called mutually assured destruction. So when you have nukes and you can ensure that you could destroy them and they could destroy you, guess what happens? Peace actually happens. It's a strategic tool You don't actually use the nukes. You have them to deter aggression. That's what they're for.
Now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point, the ceasefire for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour...
Shout out to Transcend, just joined the OSS, man. Appreciate you, bro. Welcome to the OSS, brother. This is how you guys keep the dream alive, baby. This is how we keep doing the show. Because you guys know YouTube demonetized me for fucking having these takes, because most other political commentators obviously sit there and say, Israel's our greatest ally, and suck Zio cock all day. But over here, we keep shit real, man. We keep shit real.
Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. He seems confident that this is all coming together.
That's right.
And when you left the White House, were you thinking this was all gelling here?
When I left the White House, I thought that we might be able to get it across the finish line before this broadcast, and it looks like the president has been able to do that. I mean, look, he's been working the phones constantly. Frankly, before the 12-day war started, but certainly over the past 12 days, the president's been extremely clear about America's national objective here. It is to create a world where Iran cannot build a nuclear weapon. We, of course, destroyed the nuclear program that they had, and the president told the entire team, we're going to work to make sure that they don't try to rebuild that nuclear capability in the future. And it's, look, this is a great thing. For Israel, think about this. They've accomplished an important military objective. They've helped us destroy the Iranian nuclear program. They've also destroyed the conventional missile capability of Iran that threatened the country of Israel. For the Iranians, I think this is a new opportunity to actually pursue the path of peace. As I said yesterday, what the Iranians have showed through their support of terror networks, through their now failed effort to build a nuclear weapon, is that they're just not very good at war. And I think the president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region. That's always been his goal. I actually think when we look back, we will say the 12-day war was an important reset moment for the entire region.
Would you be surprised if Iran is sending out signals that it doesn't have a specific ceasefire plan? How would the communication have been with the Iranians to get this level of confidence to put out that detailed statement?
Well, one of the things I've learned, Brett, about the Iranians in the past, 4 or 5 months that I've been in this job is what they say publicly and privately can sometimes be very different. I think what the Iranians have shown very clearly is they don't want this war to go on for much longer. Their air defenses have been totally destroyed. Their conventional missile program has been...
That's true. And Israel doesn't want the conflict to go on either, because they are pummeling Tel Aviv, even though they're suppressing that information from you guys. But they're absolutely pummeling Tel Aviv. But like, the thing is this, Western media is only showing you guys one side. Both Israel and Iran are fucking each other up pretty badly, by the way. Okay. Tel Aviv has been getting bombed a lot. They've had, despite the fact that they won't admit it, their Mossad headquarters, their Amman headquarters, one of their other intelligence apparatus buildings, they were all, significantly damaged. And on the other side, Israel also bombed the headquarters of the IRGC in Iran. So both parties have been fucking each other up. The difference is in Israel, there's currently a law on the books, or a rule in place, where journalists can't publish video or photographs because they don't want the Iranians to know what got hit specifically so that they can fine-tune the coordinates. That's why they don't want the media taking a video or photo.
Been largely destroyed, and of course their nuclear program has been obliterated, as I said before. So I think the Iranians are at a place where they don't want to keep on fighting. You saw the president, and I don't have the truth in front of me, but he talked about the next 6 hours, right, finalizing the attacks. I mean, I think what he's talking about is right now, for the American people watching, it's dark over there. That's typically when the Israelis and the Iranians have been shooting at each other. I think there's some recognition that that might continue for another few hours, and tomorrow really is a new day. The end of the 12-day war, the end of the Iranian nuclear program, and I really do believe the beginning of something very big for peace in the Middle East.
So you said totally obliterated. The president has said totally obliterated the Iran nuclear program.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure where all the highly enriched uranium is?
Well, Brett, I think that's actually not the question before us. The question before us is, can Iran enrich the uranium to a weapons-grade level, and can they convert that fuel to a nuclear weapon? And we know, based on the success of our mission, of course, the leadership of the president, but the incredible skill of our military, that the two mission objectives are completely successful. We know that they cannot build a nuclear weapon. Now, you asked about the highly enriched uranium.
Yeah, like 900 pounds of it.
But what we know, Brett, is that in uranium...
That's the 400 kilo thing that I told you guys about earlier.
Is something that exists in very large supply. Our goal was to bury the uranium, and I do think the uranium is buried, but our goal was to eliminate the enrichment and eliminate their ability to convert that enriched fuel into a nuclear weapon. I think this is an important point, Brett, because so many of the folks who have focused on the highly enriched uranium,
60%.
The main focus, Brett, has been to destroy their enrichment capacity, because we don't want that 60% uranium to become 90% uranium. That's the real concern, and that's what was so successful about our mission.
So after all this, if the Iranian government survives as is, what's to stop it from rebuilding over time if they in fact...
That's what I said as well. Like, unless you take out the regime, they're going to build another one. Like, bruh.
Moved the 60% highly enriched uranium. You know, that's the concern.
No, the big concern, Brett, and this is again what we destroyed, is their ability to enrich uranium. If they have 60% enriched uranium, but they don't have the...
But they can rebuild that. They can rebuild that. The Iranians are extremely resourceful and build a lot of their own shit. They build their own ballistic missiles. They build their own drones. They build their own hypersonic missiles. Like, they have their own nuclear scientists. Like, they've been sanctioned forever, so they've had to be pretty resourceful with their ingenuity. So, you know, if you're not going to get rid of the regime, they're just going to rebuild it. And I think that, like, this is kind of the elephant in the room that I tweeted about. Like, if you're not going to go ahead and destroy not just the nuclear program, but the people that are capable of rebuilding said nuclear program, what was the purpose? What was the purpose? To run a fucking infomercial for our B-2 bombers and our military capability? So that other countries might want to buy weapons from us? Like, you see where I'm going with this, chat? And then on top of that, I showed you guys the tweet before from the former president of Russia. A number of countries are ready to directly supply Iran with their own nuclear warheads. Like, bruh, you know.
Fatality.
So realistically speaking, obviously that would be a big deal. But if you're not going to go ahead and effectuate regime change, they're just going to rebuild it. They're just going to rebuild it. Let's be honest here. And this is why, let's be honest, as well, this is why the Israelis want regime change so bad. Because obviously, though, even though the United States doesn't want to admit this shit, even though Trump kind of subtly admitted it, because it's wildly unpopular with the base, the Israelis understand that if we destroy their nuclear program, they'll just rebuild it again. Okay? So they got to get rid of the regime. But if you're not going to put boots on the ground, you're not going to be able to get the regime out of there. This is insane cope from J.D. Vance. Insane cope. All right, cool. You push them back 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Hell, let's even say 10 years. So what? Regime is still in place. Not all the scientists are dead. They will rebuild if they haven't already. Right? I guarantee you they have some other probably unknown nuclear facilities that are hidden somewhere else in Iran. Iran's a huge country. We know about the three main ones. So unless you're going to go in there with boots on the ground and actually push a regime change, they're going to rebuild it, dude. And I would argue you've increased it tenfold now that they're going to rebuild it.
The ability to enrich it to 90%, and further, they don't have the ability to convert that to a nuclear weapon. That is mission success. That is the obliteration of their nuclear program, which is why the president, I think, rightly is using that term. But here's the question. If Iran is desperate to build a nuclear weapon in the future...
Yo, who are these retards in the chat that are saying, like, I'm wrong? Are you fucking stupid? Who are you fucking weirdos? You guys came out of fucking nowhere. A lot of you guys are probably fucking Zionist retards. If you don't think that the Iranians are going to definitely build a bomb now, you are fucking delusional. You are fucking delusional if you don't think they're going to try to build a bomb now. It's just common sense. They're absolutely going to try to build a bomb now. Absolutely.
Then they're going to have to deal with a very, very powerful American military again. Our hope is that the lesson that the Iranians have learned here is, look, we can fly a bunker buster bomb from Missouri to Iran completely undetected without landing once on the ground, and we can destroy whatever nuclear capacity you build up. I think that lesson is what's going to teach them not to rebuild their nuclear capacity. Yesterday,
Were you speaking on the president's behalf when you said he was not interested in regime change?
Well, Brett, what I've said is the American military, that is not our mission as regime change. Our mission was to destroy the nuclear facilities and the nuclear program of Iran, which we, of course, did. I think what the president's also said is that the Iranian people want to make a decision about regime change. That's between the Iranian people and the regime. Of course,
translation, we were hoping for a color revolution to happen, but it didn't happen.
We support freedom fighters all around the world, but our mission was to destroy the nuclear facilities.
See, notice how he frames it, freedom fighters. So if they overthrow their government, it's freedom fighters. Right? But if it was to happen the other way around, they'll call them terrorists. I'm telling you guys, J.D. Vance is very well media trained, bro. Very, very well media trained.
Facilities, and that's what we did.
So you don't think there's any mixed message when he goes to Truth Social and says it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MAGA.
Well, I think what the president is saying very clearly, Brett, is if the Iranian people want to do something about their own leadership, that's up to the Iranian people. What the American national security interest here is very simple. It's to destroy the nuclear program. That's what we've done. And now that the 12-day war appears to be effectively over, we have an opportunity, I think, to restart a real peace process. And Brett, this is not just about two countries, Iran and Israel. All of these Gulf Arab states, they want peace. They want to invest. They want to build artificial intelligence hardware. They want to sort of come into the new economy. And that was impossible when you had Iran that was, as the president said, acting like a bully across the Middle East. We really think that if the Iranians are smart about the path forward, this could be a new dawn of an economic age of prosperity, of course, for our Gulf Arab allies, for us, for the Israelis, for everybody. But it's going to require the Iranians play it smart from here.
The president called it very weak, the Iran missile firing on the U.S. base in Qatar, Al Udeid. Was it a face-saving move? How do you get from that, firing missiles at a U.S. base, to a ceasefire?
Yeah, it was 100% a safe face. Because here's the thing, bro. So, guys, you got to understand the way that these conflicts work, right? When you attack a country, right, they have to retaliate in some way. Now, the magic is in retaliating in a way where you display strength while simultaneously not causing so many casualties that they're going to absolutely hit you back with a severe response. Now, we already know the United States is militarily superior to Iran. So if Iran was to hit the U.S. base and not telegraph and kill U.S. soldiers, that would prompt a significant and severe response from the United States, right? Which we know. But if they telegraph like they did before after Soleimani was killed, hey, we're going to attack you guys. Then the U.S. is able to evacuate soldiers, you know, move important equipment, etc. And the attack won't be as significant. Now, everybody wins in that situation. It's kind of like, you know, tit for tat type, you know, warfare, where it's Iran's able to send a statement and not make themselves look weak, right, on the world stage. But at the same time, the United States is able to, you know, ensure that U.S. soldiers don't get killed and critical infrastructure isn't destroyed, if they can move it, that is. So they're able to retaliate in a way where they can save face without necessarily being hit really back, or getting hit really back hard by the United States. Iran did this last year, actually. For those of you that are wondering, when they killed Ismail Haniyeh and they last year, and all the other provocations that they ran, you know, the Pager attack, etc. Iran did launch missiles into Israel, but they notified them beforehand, right? They notified them beforehand. So that's typically the way they go when they don't want a really bad retaliatory response. Now what I will say, if it's a sneak attack, then you know they're actually trying to cause damage. Okay, chat? If it's a sneak attack like what Israel did last week with Operation Rising Lions, where they're in the middle of diplomacy and then they just hit them and they didn't see it coming, that is, all right, we're trying to really actually hurt you here, blah, 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 right? And that's why Iran's response was so severe. And they just, to this day, they're still raining missiles on Tel Aviv, guys. They still are right now. Okay? And it's done significant damage. Like southern Israel was out of power a couple hours ago. So that's kind of how it goes when it comes for the tit for tat retaliation type stuff.
Fire, as he details in this Truth Social.
Well, as the president said, they actually gave us some warning here. And we think they gave us some warning because they didn't want to kill Americans and they...
Come on, man. I didn't watch this interview beforehand. Literally came out like 7 minutes ago and I turned it on.
They didn't want to...
This is Retaliation 101, chat.
Escalate. There's definitely some symbolism to this, Brett. If you look at the Iranian attack, it was 14 missiles that they telegraphed ahead of time. We dropped 14 bunker buster bombs, as the president told me earlier.
Mirror image retaliation.
Our missiles, our bombs were a little bit bigger than their bombs. Our bombs actually accomplished the goal of eliminating their nuclear program. But look, we're happy, again, to restart the peace process as the president just did today.
Was the message delivered directly to the U.S. or through an emissary?
The message is always delivered through some sort of intermediary. That's been consistently true of the Iranians. Of course, we'd love to talk to them. The president's been clear about this. We'd love to have a direct conversation about how we move this thing forward because, again, we got to step back here. Why did the president do what he did over the past week? It's so that we could destroy their nuclear program. If they try to rebuild it, they're going to be on the wrong end of American power once again. We don't want that. I think they don't want that, but the ball's in their hand.
Too late, bro. I think they already have it rebuilt and or are in the process. Either they have it rebuilt, they have another facility, or they're going to rebuild.
You've been reluctant or at least cautious about getting engaged previously, and that has been public. What made you sign on to this action this time?
Well, I think the president has been very clear, and I've always agreed with the president that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. And you try to run the diplomatic process as much as you possibly can. When the president decided that wasn't going to work, he took the action that he had to take. Now we're in a new phase. That action was successful. We had a wildly successful military operation to take out their nuclear program. Now let's go on to the next phase. And I think the president, look, sometimes he's willing to use peace. Sometimes he's willing to use the military. I think it really depends on what the Iranians do from here.
And what do you think they do from here?
Well, it's an open question, Brett. I don't want to predict what the other side will do, but I think that I know what we'll do if they continue to pursue a nuclear weapon. And I hope they don't choose that path because I know the president wants to see the Middle East become peaceful and prosperous in the future. That's not going to happen if Iran pursues a nuclear weapon again.
And for the people, so we talked about the people who believe that this is going towards World War III, especially in your own party. There's a section that's very vocal. There's another section that says you should take out this regime because it's evil and horrible and has done horrible things for decades. How do you square those two sides? And can this regime stay in place?
And that's why the base was, that's why Trump and his administration have been so big on like, this is just a precise attack. This is all we're doing. We're not going to, you know, that really weighed on Trump, man. He would have probably acted sooner had this war or conflict not been so unpopular. Quick word from our sponsor, by the way, guys. We got this exclusive community for you guys where we could talk about the stuff that we want to talk about. The O/Squad, aka the OSS, is finally here. But without further ado, guys, you're going to get a bunch of perks from joining. Number one, you're going to be able to call into the show when I have call-in sections on the debrief. I'm going to be talking to the OSS members only on there. Also, you guys are going to get discounts on merch and exclusive drops that only OSS members have access to. On top of that, we're going to do one annual meetup completely free on 420 once a year right here in Miami. And then on top of that, whenever I travel, I'm going to let you guys know with the Telegram chat so you can go ahead and do a meetup there because you're an OSS member. My goal here, guys, is to have you guys be able to support the mission without breaking the bank. We're going to keep membership dues low. You're obviously going to get discounts with annual codes and all types of opportunities to get a better price point. This is basically going to be done so we can continue doing what we're doing, expand the debrief, expand the O/Squad, and be able to have the independence, quite frankly, that is very tough to come by nowadays in a pro-censorship regime. Bam. Thank you guys. Like I said, we're running a special right now, $4, guys. You can join in. You guys know I've been demonetized on YouTube for 2 years, telling the truth about this shit by the Zios, because we were talking about this stuff before October 7th and before it was cool to talk about it. And obviously, we talked about this stuff before October 7th and the awareness of our country being occupied. they would ban you. So they demonetized me, and it fucking is annoying for 2+ years for telling the truth. So that's how we fight back against censorship, guys. Joining the OSS. $4. I know I said $10, but we're running a sale for you guys right now. And also the merch is coming out next month. If you guys want to get one of these hoodies or whatever, I got some other pieces I'm going to wear as well and show you guys. But yeah, man, go check it out.
Place and still
link is below. Them Boys 9/11 for the monthly, $4 first month, $10 after that, or $75 for the year. Code JFK 9/11.
That peaceful, reaction relationship with the U.S.
Well, I think the president has squared those two sides quite well. One, because he's the leader of the movement, and a lot of people trust the president, as they should. They recognize they're not seeing the same intelligence. They're not seeing the same classified documents. They trust the president to do a good job. But importantly, Brett, I think he's threaded the needle quite well here. We had a very particular objective. It was profound and difficult to accomplish.
Do you think
the elimination of the Iranian nuclear program,
think they were
and I
close?
think the president successfully did that. You're asking, were the Iranians close to a nuclear weapon? Brett, they were very close to a nuclear weapon. And what I encourage my fellow Americans to think about here is that a week ago, the Iranians were quite close to achieving a nuclear weapon. Now they cannot build a nuclear weapon. That is the biggest testament to the president's leadership and to the success of our mission. In 1 week, without, thank God so far, not losing a single American casualty, we have taken what was a threatening nuclear program that could have destabilized the entire world. Now that program is gone. We did it through effective presidential leadership and also some very, very competent work from our troops.
How often does it happen where you're going to do an interview and you get a Truth Social seconds before? You have some sense of it, but it's pretty detailed, where you are being asked about something the president has just put out.
In this administration, Brett, it happens quite a bit, actually, but we knew this was coming. The draft, it was interesting. I just read the draft about 2 minutes before we went on the air. It was a little bit different from what the president had showed me a couple of hours ago. But again, I knew that he was working the phones as I was on the way over here. So I knew exactly what we were going to do. And look, I love that about this presidency and this administration, is he's always working. He doesn't say, the vice president's going to do an interview, so I'm going to stop doing anything. He says, we're going to do the American people's business. The vice president knows what I'm trying to accomplish. And if I get it done, great, because we're going to talk about it and celebrate it, because it is a thing to celebrate. I can't emphasize this enough, Brett. We have destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. 0 Americans have died. That's an amazing, amazing thing. Americans, whether Democrats or Republicans, we should be celebrating that.
Mr. Vice President, we appreciate you coming and rolling with the punches.
Very, very interesting. Because, he's obviously contradicted his cabinet by saying, oh, yeah, MAGA and all this other shit, and we're going to do a regime change. Let's get the latest here on what's going on. Let's go back into the Twitter space.
I have a question for the panel here, because this is interesting. Like, I'm trying to read all the news that's coming out right now. You've done a great job of keeping up with all the breaking news, but how do you guys think Trump is handling this? Is this the right way to move forward, or has he made it worse with?
We didn't understand it yet. We're still
because I don't understand.
There's one theory that hasn't been made.
Junior, if the war ends, Junior, then that means that Donald Trump did the world a favor. If the war ends.
Max, okay, listen, real question, right? What do you think he actually achieved? Like, what was achieved over these 12 days, or even by what Trump did?
Shout out to SXM for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, my friend.
I think it humbled the Israelis, and I think that Donald Trump probably wanted that to happen. I think they were pushing him too much. I think they were pressing him too much. And he probably told Netanyahu, yeah, I'll go in there with you. Let him go in there for about 5, 6, 7 days by himself.
Also, I need to mod some of you guys up in the YouTube chat, man. We're growing, and we need to get some more mods on YouTube.
Just to show that he's still the big bad wolf. All of a sudden, he forces them back to ceasefire, and Donald Trump looks fucking extremely well. Israel's position is weakened. Saudi Arabia's position is enhanced. And remember, I'm telling you right now that Donald Trump is much more aligned with the Saudis than he is with Netanyahu and the Zionists. I expect Netanyahu, if this peace deal is real, Netanyahu should be out within 90 days.
Some more breaking news.
We've got Reuters. Yep.
And I'll just some more breaking news. Israeli's military spokesman declines to comment on Trump's ceasefire statement. That's in the New York Times, but he's declined to comment on the ceasefire agreement. So this whole thing was to just teach Israel a lesson, basically. All that.
I think to humble them, yeah.
Well,
I think to humble them. And they definitely got humbled.
We've got
Adam with the breaking news.
We've got Reuters also saying that a senior Iranian official has confirmed that Tehran has agreed to the ceasefire. So that's Al Arabiya and Reuters now.
Whoa, what the hell?
Damn, guys, look at that.
Wait, repeat.
Look at that.
What did you say, Adam? I missed it.
This is some bullshit.
That's good news, man. That's good news. Bro, I don't want to get in another war with these niggas, bro.
A senior
Reuters is Jew. I don't trust Reuters.
Listen, why are you disappointed? You guys should be happy.
Okay, but what?
Yeah, it was Reuters. Yeah, that's.
What did Reuters say though?
Yeah, this is a good thing, bro. This is a fucking good thing. If the war is actually over, this conflict is over, fuck yeah, man. That is good. That is good.
Every other Zionist agreement and Zionist deal.
Here we go. Here we go.
They're gonna break the agreement, and I guarantee you guys, if Iran agrees to this, just like what Israel did to Lebanon and Palestine, they're gonna still keep bombing it. So that's why it sucks, and it's just fake news and it's bullshit.
Yeah, when have they
Listen, this was always going to be the case. Remember the Cuban Missile Crisis?
When did they actually
13 days.
Ceasefire? Like, when has Israel actually followed a ceasefire? They violated every single ceasefire.
Oh, stop.
They have a 99%
Donald Trump is president. He got it done.
Ever got they violated?
Donald Trump is president now.
That is true.
Israel has been humbled.
Okay, so what are the repercussions if Israel violates the ceasefire? Please enlighten me.
They got humbled.
What's going to happen to Israel if they violate the
Their fucking cities are destroyed. They look like Gaza now. They've been humbled.
Okay, riddle me this, right? Do you think Iran has the right to absolutely level Tel Aviv if Israel violates the ceasefire?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. That at least we're getting somewhere here.
As long as you don't call it a genocide in Gaza,
Max
Junior.
knows America got
Somebody
Israel
clip
back.
that.
That's why he's saying that.
No,
They
Max
can
is,
clip that all they want. I don't give a fuck about Israel. How many times I give you? You care about Gaza? Cool. I don't give a fuck about Gaza. I don't give a fuck about Israel. I don't give a fuck about Iran. I only care about American foreign policy. And American foreign policy is doing great right now. Israel has been humbled. They ain't gonna have that fucking pull on the fucking Americans' neck anymore. Donald Trump can tell them to go fuck off, and now he can do his America First policy.
Look,
I think this is a great day to be an American.
Donald Trump is gonna.
I do think it's important also that you guys know that Israel violates ceasefires all the fucking time. You know, they've done it with Hezbollah a million times. They've done it with Hamas a million times. So we'll see what happens. You guys already know I'm anti-war. I don't want a fucking conflict. So if this is true and they are going to actually agree to a ceasefire and stop the fighting, that's fucking awesome. And I would argue with this situation, the Iranians live to fight another day. This, and my take on this is that if they're going to actually do the ceasefire, right? If the ceasefire is actually going to happen, this is going to be an L for the Israelis. Because the Israelis want regime change. Iran is absolutely going to work towards building a nuclear bomb. Whether they do it in or out of country, they utilize other allies, whatever it may be, they're absolutely going to try to get a bomb now because they know the West can't be trusted, and this is just maybe one of many other attacks. So keeping the regime in place by the Israeli government is an L. I see why they wanted a regime change, because they want it where they can put in their own government that's not going to build nuclear weapons that are going to be used against them, and will be an ally and recognize them as a state. So, and also not fund all the other proxies. So we'll see what happens here. But this ceasefire, I think, benefits Iran. Doesn't really benefit Israel. They didn't finish the job.
Situation. The reason, I mean, I don't agree why Iran did it. I think the concern was that they were actually getting bombed as well, and they were getting harmed. And so in that situation,
yeah, both parties were getting fucked up. Like, guys, make no mistake about it. Okay, you guys know I'm neutral on this shit. Both countries were getting royally fucked up. Don't let the fucking media lie to you guys and say, "Oh yeah, Israel's unscathed." Israel was getting absolutely fucked up. You guys just couldn't see it because they had a press ban. Okay. Iran also is getting fucked up. Obviously, that means the media is going to tell you guys that they were getting fucked up, which they were. But both parties were getting fucked up. Let me tell you guys something about the Israelis. The Israelis don't agree to ceasefires unless they're taking damage, okay? Israel is a glass cannon. They can't sustain casualties. They can't sustain damage. It's a small country. It's obviously densely populated within that. We're talking about a state the size of New Jersey, okay? Like when the missiles hit, they do some real damage over there. So also, keep in mind, guys, the interceptors that they use cost significantly more money than the missiles that Iran is sending in. So in other words, it costs Israel a lot more money to defend themselves than it costs Iran to attack them. Obviously, the longer the war goes, the longer this conflict goes, the more advantageous Iran is, okay? When it comes to the war of attrition, whoever can more easily sustain outputting damage is going to win. It's the war of attrition. Israel can't sit there and have Tel Aviv and Haifa continue to get bombed, all right? They just can't. And their missile defense systems have been deteriorating over the past week. We've seen more and more missiles get through, all right? So that is why this ceasefire happened. The Israelis never agreed to a ceasefire if they're on top. So, again, the reality that Western media won't tell you is both parties were fucking each other up. And it was starting to become very costly for Israel to continue to defend itself. That is why this ceasefire, if true, was brokered.
So I think Trump is drunk or something. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see now, because this is what True thinks as well. True thinks that they won't agree to this, but
what's the
condition? Earlier today, Israel said that they wanted a ceasefire, that they were begging for a ceasefire, and Iran said that they didn't want a ceasefire. So, you know, Israel got what they wanted.
Dr. Mike says, just wait for Israel to break the ceasefire. As always, Trump is likely setting up a false flag because Iran violated or committed terrorist attacks. When Israel actually did it, they just want regime change and destruction and more control. Yeah.
Simon says because it's all orchestrated.
Look, guys, when it comes to this conflict with Iran, I honestly, guys, I'm extremely skeptical of everything Trump puts out. Extremely.
Because Simon's thing was that Israel would be eradicated. If this continued, then Simon's point would have been right and America stayed out of it. But this has just saved Israel. So it
They're
just goes
severely weakened. Every single other time they've went through this, they've never been touched like this. They've never been touched like this. Now, they don't have that smug-ass look on their face anymore. They know they can be touched, and I'm telling you right now, their power is severely diminished. They've been humbled. The Israeli citizen has been humbled.
Max,
They're not going down this road anymore.
Have they stopped committing genocide in Gaza, though?
Their power is America.
Yeah, I don't think it's humble when they're still committing a genocide and a Holocaust in Gaza. Humble is when they stop committing a genocide and when they stop fucking with the entire world. That's humble.
Oh, they got their karma.
Max, I think the only way.
Yeah. Yeah, the Israelis obviously, you know, can't keep sustaining. The other thing too, you guys got to understand, right? So how do I know this, right? So if you guys remember, right, last year, right around September of 2024, right? Let's go back in time a little bit. So, as you guys know, October 7th happened, 2023, right? And Israel started an air campaign destroying Gaza. They entered Gaza right around October 28th. They entered Gaza like at the end of October. So, October 7th happens, they launch an air campaign. Then ground troops moved in roughly 2 to 3 weeks later. They fight in Gaza for like the whole year. Fast forward to September of 2024, roughly in that area, Israel invades southern Lebanon. And the purpose of invading southern Lebanon was to stave off the missile strikes that were hitting northern Israel, because Hezbollah was sending rockets into northern Israel to divert IDF forces. So the IDF went into Lebanon and started also simultaneously conducting airstrikes in Beirut. During the course of their airstrikes, they killed Hassan Nasrallah. Also, they launched a pager attack in mid-September. Okay? They fought for a few weeks. Israel was not able to get past the Litani River like they planned, and they couldn't make it to Beirut. However, they negotiated a ceasefire with Hezbollah, and they stopped fighting. Israel withdrew out of southern Lebanon, and the ceasefire stuck to a degree. Immediately after the ceasefire, the Syrian rebels, led by Ahmed al-Shara, started to take over Syria. And they took Aleppo, and then they worked their way down to Damascus, etc. Why do I say all this? I'm telling you guys this to let you guys know that the way that the Israelis conduct warfare is they rely heavily upon technology, intelligence, and airstrikes. They can't sustain long-term casualties. They just can't. They have a small military, and they're not really good on the ground like that. Okay? So, since they're kind of a glass cannon, I'm not surprised that they went ahead and brokered a ceasefire with Iran, because since Iran's ballistic missiles absolutely overwhelmed them. Just so you guys know, the Israelis did not know that Iran had the sophistication of the ballistic missiles that they have. They underestimated them, and they thought that the Iron Dome and the Sling and the Arrow were going to be far more effective at stopping these missiles than they were. And the reality is that they got hit quite a bit. That is why they did a ceasefire. Learn, know one thing about the Israelis, guys. They only agree to ceasefires when they're taking damage. The Israelis never agree to ceasefires if they're winning. Look at what they're doing with Hamas and Gaza. They've done a blockade for several months. No ceasefires. The only time they do the ceasefires is from enormous pressure from the international community to get aid in. That's the only time. But when they're winning, bro, hell no. So, yeah. So that's what ended up happening, guys. Obviously, they're going to spin it and say, oh, no, we were winning, blah, blah. Nah, bro. They don't agree to ceasefires unless they're taking significant damage, and that's why they agreed to it. Tel Aviv was getting beat up. Haifa was getting beat up. The Iranians were also getting beat up, but the difference is that the Iranians can go longer than the Israelis because the Israelis are the ones defending. That's why.
Guys, you're literally just making
Simon's great. Listen, I get a lot of flack for Simon, but I really appreciate him a lot. Great guy.
But why are we making?
He keeps it from being an echo chamber.
Israel's literally going to strike within an hour.
We have you for that, Gary. We just need to.
But I'm not in here as much as Simon. I'm a little bit more extreme. Simon is very eloquent.
You're like the MAGA voice, bro.
Yeah, Simon's very eloquent in the way he says things. I basically don't give a fuck, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, Gary, I disagree with you that Israel's been weakened in any way. I mean,
let's also face it, you can't listen to shit what Trump is saying. So we got more.
Go to Tel Aviv and tell me Israel hasn't been weakened. Go to Mossad headquarters and tell me they haven't been weakened.
A building isn't weakening though. That's not weakened.
Okay. They have never been touched.
Bombs.
Now they've been touched.
Providing them money.
We begin with this Fox News alert. Two things are happening right now.
This is like one of the first times I've seen the mainstream media show Israeli damage.
Trump is getting ready to meet with his national security team inside the Oval Office today. And following the United States' historic Operation Midnight Hammer, we might learn next steps coming out of this meeting as the world awaits. Security also is being tightened here at home as Iran continues to threaten us. Yes, death to America, but they're claiming they have sleeper cells inside the United States. We're going to dig deeper, be all over it. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. A closer look at that bold mission.
Also, guys, we're only 3 away from 1,400, man. Let me read some of these chats. Nova97, by the way, guys, if you're a member of OSS, I read your chats on screen. You can go ahead and join in on the chat and chat from there. We got a hilarious and awesome chat up there. So join OSS and, you can... Whatever the price is, you get to get your chat read. Seeing videos of panicked unrest is real. Army getting berated and attacked by the public while trying to put out fires. Work in the rubble covered already. Anyone else see that? Yeah, I know. We talked about it. American media is not showing it. This is actually surprising that Fox News actually is showing Israel getting hit. Thank you, Myron, for red pilling us on them boys. You and Nick Fuentes are my main news source, WSS and WNick. Shout out to you, DB. Do you think anything else comes of all this in the near future? No chance Iran just stops entirely with their nuclear program. No chance they're going to stop it entirely. They're going to just find another way to get it done. Milan says, Myron, you good? Had some rest? Or are you on full Terminator mode or more like Drew? Okay. Milan says, I listened to Nick, the real Nick Fuentes, about origins of the conflict in the Middle East. 40-minute and end game for USA is not good. Drew D11. Do you think Trump has anyone around him that's giving pushback on us getting involved in this conflict? Do you think if the base keeps being vocal, it could change anything? The people are 100% Trump on this. Yeah, bro. That's what made him think twice about doing this. OSS, you're a member to support you. Thank you so much, Mike. Been listening to you for 3 years. Greetings from Greece. Appreciate you, bro. Will ceasefire include PAL? I think this want Iran. Oh, you mean Palestine? No, it's not going to include them. They're still killing people in the Gaza Strip, bro. Just let's see. Shout out to you, Virgo, joining OSS. The Mahdi is the justice bringer who sets the stage for Jesus' return. Trump is lying. He needs Iran to keep destroying Israel so them boys keep leaving the illegal settlements. All right. Benjamin Netanyahu says, Myron, all jokes aside, I'm in the military. I believe the generation of military members is somewhat doomed. You can't even yell at them because they'll take you to HR. Yeah, I've heard about that. I have heard about that.
And that severely damaged Iranian nuclear sites. The operation targeted 3 of those sites in Iran. And one of those facilities was the one that we talked about the most, the Fordow site. The U.S. used 6 B-2 bombers to drop 12 30,000-pound bunker busters on that site. 2 more of those bunker busters were also dropped on another Iranian nuclear site. 30 Tomahawk missiles hit a 3rd site. In total, more than 125 U.S. aircraft, 75 precision-guided weapons.
FNA Jabbar says, like the video and share the fucking content. We get into 1,500 OSS members today, and the price should be going up, so get in before it does. Yeah, bro, it's going to go back up to 10 once we, in July. So get in now, guys, while you can. Get in a good price. $4 for the first month, $10 after that. You know, I'm always going to keep the price point very fair and low. And for the year, it's $75, man. So that's the best way for you guys to support the content, as you guys know. You know, I get these hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views a month on this channel, and I don't get paid for it. And I still stream on YouTube for you guys, and I'm losing a lot of money, and that's fine. You know, as long as about 50% of the viewership is on OSS, I'm totally cool with that. I'll take the L on the money. I'd rather allow you guys to enjoy watching the show on YouTube, because I know many of you prefer YouTube because, you know, it's easier to link with your TV. Maybe you got YouTube Premium, you like the UI, whatever. It's fine. I should be moving you guys to Rumble or Kick, but I don't do that because I know a lot of you guys enjoy watching the show on YouTube. So the only thing I ask in return is you smash that like button if you don't got the money to afford OSS, or join the OSS and support the mission. That allows me to keep doing what I'm doing and give you guys this content.
Were used. And the mission was the first time the United States has directly bombed Iran. Iran sent a stark warning to the president after those strikes. Actually, he was already saying this before. One Iranian military spokesman.
Isaiah says, what's up, bro? Can't wait for the next Miami debate. Do you think there's a chance that Trump is playing Israel? No, bro. He's 100% beholden to Israel. And for all of you guys that are wondering why I can't say anything in the space, I can't say anything in space, guys, because I'm banned on Twitter right now. My account is literally locked. So for the retard most toxic, I can't even comment. So shut the fuck up, dumbass. Holy shit, man. Some people are stupid. Literally, I showed y'all at the top of the show. My account is literally locked. Does it show? Hold on. It doesn't show here. But yeah, my account is locked, guys. I can't post shit. Look, see how this thing is blacked out like that? It means I can't even type anything on my own post. So anyway, it is what it is.
This person called Trump the gambler, adding, you may start this war, but we will be the ones to end it. Remember, they were already threatening last week. Don't do this, sleeper cells, the whole bit. That continues. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
This is an operation that presidents of the past have dreamed about, but no president had the guts to actually do it. But President Trump did, to take away this imminent threat, not just to the state of Israel, but to the United States and the rest of the world. So
I got banned for telling one of those 304s that she fucks NBA players. One of those like Zionist chicks, I think Emily Oster, one of these whores. I said that she smashes NBA players and she's a 304, and they fucking banned me for 12 hours.
The country is a
They locked my account for 12 hours.
safer place today because of the president's bold action, and he has prevented.
So I can't fucking, I literally can't, I can't tweet until like midnight tonight.
A nuclear conflict.
And I can't stream either. Why do you guys think I'm not live on Twitter right now?
He has prevented a rogue radical regime from obtaining a nuclear bomb and threatening our people.
I wonder how many of those countries around Iran have called to thank
Holy shit, look at that.
Our U.S. president, because it provides them with safety as well. Iran and Israel are still trading strikes today as the world prepares for how Iran will respond. Dramatic new video shows the moment a missile hit the side of the road as Iran launched a new wave of attacks. That strike.
Yeah, I don't know how I got banned either, Chad. I know, it's fucking stupid. I can show y'all the screenshot. This is the tweet that got me in trouble, basically. I'll show y'all real fast.
Strike was south of Tel Aviv, and the Israeli Defense Force is responding with its own strikes in a series of attacks that hit 6 Iranian airports, destroying 15 fighter jets and attack helicopters. Note the difference.
You guys see that? Let me make this shit big for you ninjas. That's the tweet that got me in trouble. You're a dumb hoe that fucks NBA players. You spend more time putting on makeup than actually researching anything. Fucking stupid, bro. Your account has been reported, has been locked for violating the X rules. So somebody, they fucking mass reported my shit for roasting her, bro. Dude, fuck Twitter, man. This is why I dislike Elon Musk, man. Oh, free speech on my fucking ass, bro. God damn, niggas be fucking on some bullshit, man. Falcon punch! So yeah, my shit's fucking banned for 12 hours. That's why I can't fucking stream on here or even talk in this space. So all you guys say, Myron, say something to space. Nigga, I can't even say what I want to say. So, anyway.
Iran goes after highly populated areas, residential areas, business areas of Israel, and the United States and Israel go after them.
Yeah, she 100% had her Sims mass report me or some shit, bro. 100%.
Military targets and anything nuclear at this point that we can get to. Senior national correspondent Rich Edson is at the White House now with more. Rich.
Hi, good morning, Harris. Well, White House officials are
Yo, OSS, I see retards on YouTube saying that the volume is low. Guys, give me ones in the chat if the volume is good. Give me twos if I need to turn it up. One if it's good. Give me twos if I need to turn it up. OSS guys, I'm looking at you guys. These YouTube and Rumble niggas be fucking trolling, so I'm looking at the OSS chat.
stressing that the United States is not looking for an all-out war with Iran. This is just a couple of hours from now. President Trump will meet in the Oval Office with his National Security Council to discuss all this. As you mentioned, the attacks between Iran and Israel continue. The Israelis are launching more attacks against Iran, and the administration waits on any potential response from Tehran after American bombs struck Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend. Now, Iran could target the massive U.S. military presence in the Middle East or disrupt shipping and global energy markets. The president is watching the oil markets, posting this morning, quote,
funny, on YouTube, I see a bunch of twos, but on Rumble, on the OSS, I see a bunch of ones.
Everyone keep oil prices down. I'm watching. You're playing right into the hands of the enemy. Don't do it. For years, American presidents, including this one in his first term, have pressured the regime in Iran, especially with sanctions. As for whether the U.S. is trying to help overthrow the Ayatollah, the president wrote, quote, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? Well, there is an authoritarian government.
All right, I turned it up a little bit, so I don't want to hear oh, no, that's even too loud. Now I can even hear that shit. All right, I turned it up a bit, so it shouldn't be as bad.
Government there.
Yo, some of you guys are fucking deaf, bro, or got some shitty-ass headphones that you guys be using. One of the two.
Afterwards, the White House press secretary stressed that U.S. policy is unchanged.
The president was just simply raising a question that I think many people around the world are asking. If the Iranian regime refuses to give up their nuclear program or engage in talks, we just...
Guys, we hit 1,400. Falcon punch! Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you guys so much, bro. The goal is 10,000 by the end of the year. As you guys know, we're growing the channel. The goal is to always have 10K live when we're streaming. Also, not just have 10,000 watching live, but also have 10,000 strong in the OSS. That will be able to get, that'll be, you know, our power to be able to give the middle finger to platforms like YouTube that are pro censorship. So appreciate that, man. Thank you guys so much. We hit the 1,400 mark. So shout out to you guys. Let's get to 1,500 next. Let's go, baby.
Took out their nuclear program on Saturday night, as you all know. But if they refuse to engage in diplomacy moving forward, why shouldn't the Iranian people rise up against this brutal terrorist regime?
Now, ahead of this weekend's attacks from the U.S. on Iranian nuclear sites, the Israeli military had significantly degraded Iran's defenses as well as its militias and proxies across the region. Harris?
Rich, thank you very much. The Wall Street Journal's editorial board has a new piece titled Trump Meets the Moment on Iran. And it says this: at the very least, Iran's nuclear program has been set back by years. Iran may retaliate no matter how self-destructive that would be for them. It now knows Mr. Trump is not bluffing. Much of the press has been fixated on the idea that Mr. Trump has now joined or even started a conflict. But Iran has been waiting.
Just so you guys know, we got David Green coming from Bigger Pockets. We're going to cover real estate today, guys. And we're also going to have Luke Belmer on for After Hours. So it's going to be a good time, bro. Going to be a really good time.
Waging regional and terrorist war for decades. it's as likely that he has helped end it. Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, member of the Armed Services Committee and an Iraq War veteran. You led a command over there on the ground.
Oh, yeah, we already talked about her and how much money the lobby gave her.
Of reserve officers, very impressive. And so you can tell us what it's like right now. As I'm most curious about is the president kind of calculates his next move.
Yes, absolutely. And what I would recommend, of course, to every American, whether they are civilian or military in the Middle East, is they must keep their heads on swivels. They must be aware of what is going on around them 24/7. We would anticipate that Iran would attempt to go after any American they can, whether it's bases in the Middle East or, as we heard earlier, maybe even Americans here in the homeland. But to the president, thank you, Mr. President, for securing our future and making sure that future generations are safe from a nuclear threat coming out of Iran. And I know that many of the countries through the Middle East, our Arab partners, and most certainly Israel, will be grateful as well that they won't have the threat of nuclear war hanging over their heads. We want a strong, prosperous, and safe Middle East.
What do you say about the United Nations with all of this? I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I had just made the point. I wonder who's made the phone call of thank you to the president in that region because it's better for everybody. But the United Nations is condemning us.
Well, shame on the United Nations. It just shows how far to the left that they have bent. Instead of wanting world security, the United Nations just simply cowers to many of these authoritarian regimes. But we know, and in the conversations I have had through the Middle East as I travel there frequently, hearing from those leaders is that they do want peace. They do not want to see a war. This is not a war. This was a strike on a threat to the United States of America. I would
Get ready. That's what they're going to say all week, by the way.
Say as well, this
J.D. Vance said yesterday, yeah, we didn't strike Iran. We struck their nuclear program. That's like the Japanese saying, hey, we didn't strike the United States. We just struck your Navy on Pearl Harbor. Come on, man.
Retribution, Harris, for the thousands of American lives that have been taken by Iran through direct strikes from Iran, as well as their terrorist proxies. And I was saying last week as well, we lost 43 Americans on October 7th. Not a peep out of the Biden administration. 8 Americans were held hostage by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and yet President Biden chose not to do a darn thing about it. Well, we have a president who is going to stand up for Americans now.
Well, here's the thing. Your boy Benjamin Netanyahu could have got the hostages back on like day 3, but he chose not to because he preferred to launch a war that, you know, basically got all of his objectives done except for stopping Iran. Let's see here. Let me read some of these chats. OSS Army in chat. I appreciate that from True Alpha. Couch says they reported you for bullying. They definitely did. Brand says, appreciate all the info during this conflict. Been locked in to you and NF all this. Are you and you already know I joined the OSS Army. Shout out to you, bro. Couch says your volume is straight OG. Appreciate that. Couch says I'll give you 10. Thanks. Vaughn says 100% Israel has Trump compromised. I still believe Israel wants a regime change. This move is to give Israel breathing room and to get the public on Trump's side. Sad, but we will see what happens. Absolutely, bro. Milan says, fill up your cars. I'm getting some extra fuel. It'll put out of the side just in case. Yeah, true. Photon, I see you cooking Trump in the comments of his tweets. Hey, bro, you know it. Caleb Juice says, let's see here. I don't think they are fully trolling. When I watch you on YouTube, my TV needs to be on like 70 or versus other channels. But an OSS or Rumble is perfect. Okay, that's on YouTube then. Shocker, they ban you for calling out a bitch that wants to chimp out and act like she's a suburban white woman. If Trump can end this war, does it give him more global negotiating power? Potentially. Couch says, $3. Appreciate that. Hold on. UND was great, and they supported USA and J's in the wars. Okay. TJ says, Myron, do you think Iran is stupid enough to attack civilians on the mainland, or is that just the usual bullshit narrative? Yeah, they're not that dumb, bro. I don't think people understand that Iran is very calculated with their responses. If they were as unhinged as people think, they would have attacked the U.S. base and tried to kill U.S. soldiers. But they telegraphed it. They let them know. They're a lot more restrained. There's a bomb threat at the White House and surrounding buildings. Goddamn, I hope nobody gets hurt. Hyman Slayer, hey Myron, I don't think this is it. The ceasefire is like the calm before the storm. What do you think? We'll see, bro. Like I said, unfortunately, I can't trust anything Trump says, as he's lied throughout this entire conflict with Iran. I get it. There's strategic reasons why he lied. But yeah, I am not taking anything seriously. I'm extremely skeptical. If there is peace, awesome. That's what I want. You know, we can move on to other things, true crime and shit like that. But I just don't trust them. Are they going to inspect Israel nuclear capability? Hell no, bro. Sorry, I'm always driving when you're streaming. Yeah, Top Shay, there's no fucking way. Israel will never allow IAEA or the international community to look at their nukes, bro. Israel's nuclear program is going to continue to stay unacknowledged for obvious reasons. So, yeah. Yeah, bashed Trump thinking he was going to start a war. Bro, he did start a war, you dumb fuck. Did you not just see that a U.S. base was attacked, dummy? Dumbass? Fuck you talking about? He did start a war. It's a fucking fact.
We will be much more safe and secure.
Bro, we got a bunch of dumb Zionists in the chat right now. Dreidel spinning retards, right?
Welcome, punch!
That don't understand that this was absolutely an escalation.
Because of the actions over this past weekend.
Right. Look, you talk about Biden and his inaction. If he even knew what was going on, we can't verify that. But let's go back a little bit further. President Trump's decision to bomb key Iranian nuclear sites is dividing Congress. And my head is split on it because Obama bombed like 26,000 bombs in 7 countries in a few months of 2016 before the election. Take a look at
Yeah, the Book of David is a Jew, I know.
this. Democrats are
Bro's definitely one of them.
actually in a tailspin over what Trump has done.
The United States should not be in an offensive war against Iran without a vote of Congress. The Constitution is completely clear on it. And I am so disappointed that the president has acted so prematurely.
What the president did here is definitely outside of the War Powers Resolution, and I think outside of the Constitution.
The president absolutely failed to follow the Constitution, and now we're in war without congressional authorization.
All of that is fancy for what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman from New York, just simply puts, it is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. They love that word. It makes the situation a lot clearer for voters, though, apparently, because it didn't work out for Democrats. Look, I want to go right away to exactly what Obama did and how we know that what President Trump just did was without a doubt constitutional and within the bounds of his power. The Obama administration, many sources are saying, dropped more than 26,000 bombs in 7 countries. You can take a look at that. The Council on Foreign Relations, so this is one, that says that estimate is undoubtedly low because reliable data are only available for the airstrikes in Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, and Libya. And of course, there was a war going on in Afghanistan, so they didn't even count that. Additionally, a single strike, according to the Pentagon's definition, can involve multiple bombs or munitions. We should note, again, we were at war someplace. Senator, Afghanistan.
Yes, absolutely, Harris, and all this big talk coming from the Democrats. We are not in an offensive war. This was simply a
Here we go.
defensive strike to prevent further nuclear enrichment to be used for a nuclear warhead, which would be directed not just at Israel, but then also the United States of America. We have saved countless American lives through this strike. And so, sure, if they want to drag President Trump.
Well, we were never supposed to be there in the first place. So saving American lives is a moot point. We shouldn't even have been there in the first place.
Out here in front of Congress, you know, and all the folks down at the Department of Defense, go on with your bad selves. We'll bring President Obama in too. Let's sit down. Let's compare the two, because certainly President Obama did so much more than President Trump has done in this first 6 months.
Well, he had a nuclear deal that Trump ripped up and then tried to emulate earlier this year.
So thank you and congratulations, Mr. President. I believe in.
Yeah, Fox News is so fucking propaganda. It's so much propaganda. I mean, every news organization has their narrative, but
know now that whatever you say, you're probably doing the opposite. So.
All right, guys, give me 1 sec. I'll let them talk into space. I'll be right back. I'll take a quick piss.
Seen this report of the bomb threat in a number of different outlets now. A bomb threat has been reported near the White House. All nearby buildings have been evacuated. Yeah, I do think this is a false flag. But that doesn't make me like that doesn't mean we're using an Iranian bot farm, right?
Watch Trump come back and say Iran tried to assassinate me for the third time. Waiting on that tweet.
I've just put a tweet in the nest and it just shows the mentalness of this. So this is by Newswire. They wrote Trump, Israel, and Iran agreed to a ceasefire. Then they wrote Iran have not received any ceasefire proposal. Then Israel declined to comment on ceasefire. Then Iran now say agreed to US proposal with a ceasefire. So this is like, we just don't know what's going on at the moment. Is the ceasefire agreed or not? We also don't know what the timeline or its parameters are, because is there a ceasefire or not? I mean, sorry, what is the parameters? Is it 6 hours? Is it 12 hours? Is it 24 hours? When's it going down?
Well, Trump just said the war is completely over, and I don't believe Israel and Iran will exchange fire again. So that'll just be another.
I think he's just saying this. I think he's just saying this too, so that like his fanboys, like Max and all of them, like and Gunther and all of them, right? So that they don't keep pressing him. I think this is so that they can lean off a bit, and then once you get your little fanboys to lean off once, they'll never come back. Especially on the brain dead population. So we're probably going to see that, guys.
I'm silly. Can I ask, how do you even create a bomb threat on the White House? Is it just some?
Yeah. It could be as simple as what you just said, and it could be as expansive as maybe seeing someone who can't be, someone walking around the White House, or someone having a backpack at a White House which hasn't been identified. Yes, there's a few different, various ways that a bomb threat or a bomb threat can be issued at in a place like
so
White House.
It was probably an anonymous account on Facebook or Twitter, quote anonymous account. So
it was the Zion.
Bro, why are you attacking Ian for?
Well, I'm just saying it was probably them. Usually when that news comes out, they investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing.
All right, this is going to be interesting. A debate between time to finish job, Trump strikes nuclear sites. Real quick, before I get into that, guys, might as well show you guys some of the stuff that's coming out. Shout out to my guy, Brett. As you guys can see, this is what the merch is going to look like, ninjas. Pretty, and it's a Nike dry fit shirts. So it's going to be some fire stuff coming. So this is obviously the main emblem you guys know, right? With the Nike thing on the side here. I'll put one on later tonight. Then obviously here's some other designs. Here's one as well with the clean MGX on the side, and then the debrief in the back, right? Coming soon. Then we got obviously the Bison shirt, right? All Nike dry fits. So it's gonna be litty, guys. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be litty. It's gonna be litty. So merch is gonna come out, guys. Probably it's gonna come out in July. I'm thinking July 4th will be the launch. So it's gonna be a good time, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a very, very good time. It's gonna be fire. Let's see. Charlie Kirk is live right now talking about Iran, Israel. Let's see here.
You were very clear. You were going to support the president's decision if he chose to move. I don't know that
100%.
You were not enthusiastic about any American involvement.
I was very cautious. I was very cautious. Yeah. Very cautious.
You were very cautious, but you said, I think both publicly and privately, I will defend you if you move, right? And I trust 100%. You. I mean, that's essentially what it was. You've earned my trust. You've had my back. I'm going to have yours. I hope this all ends well, right? And so, I don't think of that as being a warmonger or as a dove, an isolationist. And essentially, there are shades of gray. There's nuance here. Obviously, everybody in this show, Jack, I know you got something breaking here, but everybody in the show wants to avoid quagmires, and we want to focus on mass deportations. Like, that's everybody on this show. That's what we want. But sometimes life comes at you quick, and you got to be ready to deal with it. Jack, what's up?
Well, so I do have this, and this is out of my former colleague Trey Yingst, and he's just got it right here. President Trump spoke with Qatar's emir, informed him that the U.S. got Israel to agree to a ceasefire. The president asked Qatar to help persuade Iran, following that the Vice President Vance coordinated directly with Qatar's Prime Minister on the details. This effort proved successful, and following discussion with the Qatari PM, the Iranians agreed. So it was Israel first, then it was between, so the President Trump asked Qatar, then Vance and Qatar's Prime Minister worked directly on the details. So again, to Charlie's point about this is why we have the open door there with the Qataris. The deal was then coordinated at the highest level with the President and the Vice President, the Qatari Emir and the Prime Minister. Here's the quote. Despite having been this is the Qataris quote, right? Despite having been just attacked a few hours earlier, the Qataris have set aside their grievances and prioritized.
Yes, and guys, if you're OSS members, you guys are going to get a discount on the merch. So OSS members, full-fledged members that are, active members paying, you guys will get a nice little discount code on the day that we launch. Hyman Slayers, can we get a pre-order? Not yet. Very soon. Nilfo, hey, Myron, do you think China or Russia will step in? I don't think so anymore if this peace agreement is true. Is the woman that got you banned on X the one that got mad at Andrew Wilson for calling her a feminist on Piers Morgan? No, that's somebody else. Besides just try to bomb the White House to kill Trump? Nah, bro. Why are you fake news, nigga? Come on, bro. What are you talking about?
Regional security to get the deal done. And as
look at Charlie's chat, bro. This shit crazy.
Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers.
Amen. Hey, I've been saying that all week, and President Trump is blessed for trying to get to a place of reconciliation and for peace. There's a lot more, boy. If you wanted ratings, I could tell you a lot.
So Speak Easy gave me a thing. Mark, can you clarify your views on Trump? I see people saying you turned on Trump. Do you no longer support him at all, or do you just not support the foreign policy? I don't support the foreign policy. I still support him. But guys, make no mistake about it. I voted for him. Okay, and I endorsed him. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a fucking retard and blindly agree with everything he does, right? Like, look, you guys got to understand something. I'm not paid by the Trump administration. I don't have ties to the White House. I don't have a press pass, any of this shit. So I'm not in a position where I have to sit here and fucking always defend stupid shit from MAGA. I can be objective and be critical when they say or do stupid shit, which in this case, this was really bad fucking foreign policy that was conducted on behalf of Israel, who is a rogue state that creates a lot of problems all across the Middle East. If you notice, Benny, Charlie, Crowder, Bongino, Tim, like all these guys can't really criticize Trump like that or the Trump administration. That's a problem, Chad. That's a problem. Okay? So for me, I just tell you guys what it is. You guys don't have to agree, might not like it, but at least you know my thoughts are my own. A lot of these other guys, they're trying to spin the bullshit in a way. This is why, Charlie, if you guys notice, if you follow him on Twitter, he's been asking a bunch of times his audience, like, Paul, do you think we should get involved in the war? Do you think we should do this? Do you think we should do that? And overwhelmingly, even his audience of 5 million plus, they're all saying, no, don't get involved in the war. No. Right? So what he's really doing is he's kind of gauging the temperature of his audience so that he can kind of like, manufacture or curtail the next tweet that he's going to make. That's what it really is. I'm going to be honest with y'all. So, let me see here where the poll is. He's done a bunch of polls on this shit, man. And it's all about like figuring out, where his audience stands so that he can kind of like, here's one, for example. Do you support U.S.-led regime change removing the Iranian mullahs? 70% put no. Right? So definitely been farming and trying to figure out what the best route is to go with some of his takes. And it puts him in a weird spot because he's involved in the Trump administration, doesn't want to lose that connection, but at the same time, his audience is like, what the fuck is going on here? So it puts him in a very bad spot, bro. So, look, bro, I just be honest with y'all, man.
A lot more of the backstory that happened this last week, but I don't share or leak stuff. That's not what I do. But I will say this, and Andrew, to your point, I told the president and his team, if you guys do this, we will have your back because I trust your judgment. And I said that both publicly and privately because that's what you get out of here on this program. What I say publicly, I also say privately and vice versa. This is a nice tee up.
See what I mean, guys? They can't go against the Trump administration, bro. They can't. Charlie was critical in him getting elected. Trump spoke at AmFest last year. So, yeah, dude. He's going to be beholden to the Trump administration. That's fine. All good. But the reality is don't, be on just understand that you're not going to get the most honest analysis. You're just not. It is what it is, as with many of these other political commentators. 3 are disabled Army veteran, been following and supporting since day one. I really appreciate your work, Myron. You a fucking beast, bro. You have my utmost respect, and I'll gladly accept the moderator spot on YouTube. By the way, I also joined the OSS, and I bought your book, Why Women Deserve Less. Dude, you rock. I appreciate that, Judicial. Yeah, yeah, bro. So that's kind of what it is, chat. You know, like I said before, I like Donald Trump, but his foreign policy sucks. Fucking sucks, bro. Because, you know, we just basically kind of hurt ourselves twice, because not only did we kind of do this dumb shit with Iran for Israel, we kind of set ourselves backwards a little bit with the Russians as well.
Here, 379. This is the left-wing spin. The left-wing spin is now all of a sudden they want to impeach Donald Trump for bombing Iran. Now, how are they going to possibly do this? He is brokering peace in the Middle East in a way we've never seen before. Play cut 379.
I have worked in an administration that has had to communicate. You know, I was in the Biden administration in the first year when the president made the decision to pull out of Afghanistan. And I think you can tell a lot about the administration's actions from how they are communicating outwardly about it. What do these comments today and also yet this weekend from the Vice President, Secretary of State, right, Secretary of Defense, what do these comments tell you about the strategy that the administration is employing here, or is there one at all?
No, they're making it up, Simone, as they go along.
Well, okay, so Jack, what do they mean they're making it up? First of all, we have a peace deal. I'm going to go through the no's, okay? No more war. No boots on the ground. No regime change. No endless war. No aid to the Persian rebels. And no nuclear weapons for Iran. Jack, those 6 big no's I just said is a dream. Please respond to MSNBC here.
Well, I mean, they're sitting up there, and if I miss my guess, they're trying to compare this to like what Biden was doing in Afghanistan and the pullout and all the rest of it. And it's ridiculous what they're doing here. And it's gross. It's just absolutely gross. And so what we're talking about is a president who's putting American lives first. That's absolutely correct. American treasure first. I don't see any pallets of cash being sent over to Tehran. I didn't see any any of this capitulation and the JICPOA and all these different things. By the way, this.
Shout out to True Lanzi, says he joined OSS Annual. Appreciate that, my friend. Welcome to the team, my friend. You get it down to Marco. Top D11 says, yo, Myron, Lucas Gage also made Boom Tel-Aviv shirt. Link is on his X. Also, what's the Telegram and what is you'll be dropping a merch? Love your breakdowns on this conflict. Appreciate the truth is always crazy just how occupied we are. So much I'd love to tell you about how you changed my life and woke me up in every avenue endeavor. Yeah, I got you, man. I red pill you guys on women, them boys, all kinds of shit. Currently grind 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on a daily. Good shit, man. Charlie Cook, dude, is he a hood me sucker? I mean, bro, look, I've told you guys already. Like, you're not going to get big in conservative media if you don't align yourself with them boys. That's just the reality, bro. Nightly Wisdom, W Show checking in. Shout out to you. Kim Pop says, your loyalty to Fresh is what Kirk is for Trump. It's all love. Yeah, I guess. But the difference is, like, Fresh doesn't run the United States. Or, you know what I mean? And allow a subversive government to get us into wars. It's kind of a big difference, dude. You think Netanyahu would be faced with war crimes if the UN ends the wars in the Middle East? Of course, bro. He's already indicted right now, dude. He's already charged.
Opens the door, right? Because Iran has now shown rationale.
Some idiot said I'm eating 4 bags of chips. Yeah, it's called Quest chips, you fucking retard. They're protein chips.
So this is
unlike you. I guarantee you're a fat triple chin motherfucker in the chat talking shit.
Clear, by the way. So Iran has shown rationality, and that opens the door. So if we're talking about the foot in the door tactic now, the upsell here is a broader nuclear deal for Iran to perhaps keep this off the shelf completely, a broader peace deal, perhaps normalization, at least stabilization within the region. This opens the door for so many things that none of these talking heads saw going on. And by the way, it's not the Taliban being given $9 billion of American equipment the same way that Joe Biden left them. And by the way, General Milley left them. I was there. Actually, Charlie, it was at I believe it was a Turning Point Action reception where President Trump talked about that. And he had some choice words for General Milley that have gone quite viral since that day down there at Mar-a-Lago talking about this, because this shows the difference between a president who's an idiot and a president who knows how to achieve the commander's desired end state.
So now I want to throw it to Blake here. Blake, you're kind of our historical mastermind here. Blake, can you summarize the roller coaster in the context of 5 years of Iran and Trump? From the drone to Soleimani to the Iranian nuclear deal to assassination threats to bombing nuclear sites to now a peace deal. Blake, this is a roller coaster likes of which we've never seen between Persia and the United States.
It really is, Charlie. It's I think hopefully when all is said and done, we'll look back on this as the Trump experience, the Trump tactics, the Trump strategy at its best, at its most successful. And I think we can all freely admit it can be pretty stressful to go through the same way riding a roller coaster can be.
Here comes the glaze, chat. Here comes the glaze, man.
What you're going to do. President Trump is a little different. President Trump, he is a businessman who's used to negotiation, who's used to having, a public face as well as private intentions. So President Trump is the kind of guy who can do things like say, I'm giving you 2 weeks, but actually I've already decided to hit you tomorrow. He can say, I'm willing to go as much as it takes, willing to do anything. I'm willing to overthrow your government because actually I want you to just come to the table so we can get this done. And we've seen this now over nearly a decade. President Trump said on his first day running for office that he hated the Iraq war and he didn't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. And I think that is where he was at his most clear-cut, his most honest, his most it was the best guide to everything that's happened since. And since then, it's been the ride. So we had Iran shot down one of our drones, and there were people who wanted major strikes on Iran over this. And Trump seemed like he might be open to this, and then he dialed it back, and he said, we don't need to do this. Then we had Soleimani. They were getting overly aggressive in the whole Syria, Lebanon area. He said, you know what, we can show them we mean business. Blow up their guy. Boom, blows him up. I believe he was in Iraq when it happened. And then he took the rocket volley in response to that. And there was a lot of pressure. Got to escalate further. And he said, nope, we don't need to do that. They shot their shot. Wasn't a big deal. We can move on. And this is the highest stakes version of that. He said, Iran, you have 2 months to make a deal with us. And if not, something bad will happen. Those 2 months passed, and they called President Trump's bluff, so he allowed Israel to start a war, and then he followed up himself with strikes, and he even signaled, maybe it's time for us to do...
This is like insane cope. I don't know, this is actually interesting to watch.
...regime change in Iran, but now we're seeing the other end of it. He's actually still exactly where he was in 2015. I am ready to make a deal. My main priority is don't let you get a nuclear bomb. And other than that, I don't want an Iraq war. I am perfectly fine stepping away. It's been stressful. We've always wondered where he's going, one direction or the other. But in the end, we've gotten to a place that seems very good for America.
Amen. Blake, that was well said. I want to throw to Senator Mullen from Oklahoma. First of all, Senator Mullen, congratulations on the
Thunder winning super the fucking cope, dude. Super cope. This guy's a retard too.
We're not here to talk about that, but I'm sure your family's happy about it. So now you get to celebrate an NBA Finals victory. Most importantly, peace in the Middle East. Senator Mullen, we've been saying trust President Trump this whole time. This is historic. No troops on the ground, no regime change, no U.S. force having to go into some permanent quagmire, and no nukes for Iran. Senator Mullen, your reaction.
Yeah, this is, as the president's saying, this is a 12-day war. This is exactly what peace through strength looks like. When you're able to use strength in a decisive way, you're able to declare what victory looks like before you even use strength. You're able to also declare the terms of, I wouldn't say surrender, but the terms of de-escalation. And that's exactly what took place here. The president positioned himself through deterrence. He had the assets in the area to be able to deliver on what needed to be done. He delivered on those assets precisely, and then he had enough restraint even when the Ayatollah, which we knew they had to say something, shot back at us. They had enough fear of President Trump and his leadership.
I think this guy was like gonna fight somebody one time.
that they actually gave us a heads up
during a hearing
that, hey, this is what we're going to do. Just understand it's coming, and then we're probably in a good spot. And the president immediately responded by saying, appreciate the heads up, appreciate the war is over, and we look forward to hopefully having good relationships with you moving forward. And leave it up to the Iranian people if they want regime change. That's what leadership looks like.
Totally.
That definitely didn't happen.
Amen. I know your time is limited here, Senator Mullen, but just final question here. How does this, if at all, impact the big, beautiful bill? We need unity from the Republican Party. We need no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. We need Trump tax cuts, border security, Golden Dome. How does this impact the big, beautiful bill, if at all? Narrative reset. We should see unity in the Republican Party. Please, Senator Mullen.
It doesn't affect us at all. We are moving forward. In fact, I just stepped out of a hour and a half long conference with the Republican senators. Before that, I was in a meeting with leadership for an hour discussing a path forward. I think we're in a very good spot. Hopefully, we could possibly see text and culture on this by Wednesday, Thursday, and could even possibly start voting to vote Obama as early as Friday. So we're on track to move forward. There's a lot of people in the room, Charlie, that's got a lot of ideas still. We respect those ideas. They want to make the bill better, and we all do, but we can't allow perfection to get in the way of good, because the fact is, when this bill comes to the floor, you're going to have two options. A, vote to move forward with the Trump-era policies, or B, you vote no and say, hey, I prefer to stay with Biden policies. That's not a good place for any Republican to be.
Senator, you're doing a great job. You are the Senate-House liaison, so when you speak about this, it really matters. Senator, come back when you have more time. Thank you so much, and congratulations to the world and to the people of Oklahoma. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I want to throw back here. I want to hear from you, freedom@charliekirk.com. But I think,
and guys, just so you know, we are going to absolutely be doing Fresh and Fit here soon. We got Dave Green coming in from Bigger Pockets. We're going to be covering real estate. So we got you guys, as always, helping you guys. Helping you guys with the politics, helping you guys become better investors. Is going to be litty, man. So it's going to be a good ass time. Let me, I'll jump back in this Twitter space. Let's see what these ninjas are yapping about. Let's see here. Let me just double check, see what the team is.
With a grain of salt. This could all be fake news. It could all be propaganda. None of it may be real, but just that where I'm giving you information, which we're receiving, it could be fake news or not, and I'm letting you know that. Sorry, I had to jump in.
Right back, chat. Let me just double check.
Let's hope it's fake news. Otherwise, Iran is gonna strike U.S. very hard.
Oh yeah, this is massive, guys. Hit the repost. This is huge news. If they did it, might be Israel's worst mistake. This is major news. True.
You're breaking up again. Like, if this, so there's 2 points. If this wasn't part of the agreement, and this is done, this should like end any form of agreement, right? If this is true. On the other hand, if this is some agreement that's occurred behind closed doors to get the ceasefire, and someone's betrayed him, then that could be the other reason why there was a ceasefire. So these are all factors one needs to consider.
A U.S. base was bombed
this is huge.
In Iraq. It's an Iraqi-owned base, an Iraqi one, but U.S. soldiers use it. It's the Taji.
I'm also hearing, guys, and I'm just giving you the information. I'm just hearing that it could be his son, and it may not be him.
Yeah, I'm hearing that it's an important figure, but if it was Khamenei,
that's even worse.
Yeah, he's going to be successor, and it's obvious that they were going to try. And this is why Reuters, who announced it was his son and Khomeini,
yeah, I saw that,
the grandson of Khomeini, the Ayatollah Khomeini, who the revolutionary founder. They were the two in line. They were two favorites. So I thought to myself, as soon as I read that, I thought, right, they're going to be targeted for assassination now.
The son was more hardline as well.
I know, and he was sort of suppressing some dissent. from reformists. But even though, which you'd expect in times of war, but even though, and Khomeini's grandson as well was a second favorite, and you.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get off here in a little bit. We are gonna be doing Fresh and Fit Money Monday, as you guys know. You guys can basically come on over. We're gonna be covering real estate. It's gonna be a good time. Here it is. Here's the link. Drop it for you guys that are watching on YouTube and on OSS and on Castle Club if you guys want to watch the stream. It's going to be a good time. We're going to talk, obviously this is an important episode because a lot of you guys want to get into real estate and stuff like that. So we'll kind of do a refresher, go over what the market's like now, how things are. So totally will be just adding value, baby. Just giving you guys a lot of value. You guys know how that goes. So let me see here. Let me go ahead and add the and then obviously if anything crazy happens, guys, maybe I'll jump on stream after FNF after hours. If anything crazy happens, you guys know if something happens wild, I'll obviously jump on the stream and we'll cover it. Okay, so thank you so much for the O/. Appreciate that, my friend. Josie, can you also do me a favor and get people over there? But anyway, guys, I'm gonna see y'all. I'm gonna see y'all on Fresh and Fit. Come on over right now, guys. We're gonna go over there. Dave's up on the way up, and we're gonna be starting here very, very shortly, man. So love you guys. Fresh and Fit right now. Money Monday, real estate. Let's get into it. Like I said before, I'll come back on later tonight if some crazy news happens. Obviously, we know we're in the middle of a potential ceasefire between Israel, Iran, and the United States. But we'll see what happens, chat. We will see what happens. Love you guys. Peace.